All right.
Hold on, audio sync.
Mate, that was a good clap. You know when they say like look at the fucking elbows. Yeah, that would have made that the best noise there, mate. Okay, welcome back to the Blended Views podcast. I'm your host Jordan, back with Dimitri.
Hey,
how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, mate.
Yeah. How's your week going so far?
That's nothing really exciting. Nothing to really report.
Oh, mate,
so,
you're telling me, Jesus.
It's a good thing though. If it's not too bad, it's not too good. It's one of them weeks that's not very memorable, is it?
Yeah.
And sometimes they're the best kind of weeks. Nothing really happened that you would remember. That's like crazy bad, but nothing crazy good. But sometimes,
shooting by, the paycheck's on the way, and it hasn't caused you too much heartache.
I'm still in the free
headache.
Interest-free part of my overdraft as well.
Yeah.
At the moment, yeah.
Oh, mate. Well, you know what? That's the dream, mate. That's the dream.
That's it.
Doesn't last for long, does it?
No.
They're
very close to the uninterest-free part.
Oh, mate. Okay. So today we're gonna be basically doing a podcast, talking about something which we've both experienced, and I think a lot of people do it nowadays. It's quite popular, and that is traveling.
Oh man, like every other person wants to be or has in some way have traveled in some kind of, I mean, like not like, oh, I'm going on holiday with my parents or to travel, but everyone's like, oh, I want to be a traveler, I want to experience the world. But it's the certain few that actually have. So we're kind of not making us anything special. It's just you got to have that something about you, mainly money, to allow you to.
That's just a little element,
to allow you to actually be like, you know what, I'm going to go and I'm going to experience it. But a lot of people have money, they just don't do it, like, because, well, my friend doesn't have money, so I guess like I'm independent. That's how I went off by myself a lot.
But what we in particular want to speak about today is travel cliches and the kind of stereotype that comes with traveling and what we've come into contact with, and just share some stories really. But I've heard some of your stories and they need to be shared. They need to be heard, mate.
I think nothing comes to mind. Well, a few, I guess. But I haven't experienced the stuff. Like, I don't really know what's like on the level of crazy to, like, nothing really stands out to me that much anymore.
There's some of your stories, mate, are fucking crazy. I'm probably, I don't know if some of them there's probably some stuff that you can't even go into, mate. There's some stuff which I definitely,
if I could just remember it, and I remember the right details, most things I can. Nothing like crazy illegal or.
No, not nothing crazy illegal, but just stuff that like I don't know, just like. I don't know. To be fair, like everything that I experienced when I was traveling was pretty much like, just like funny stuff. Nothing that was like really bad. Just like stuff which I went traveling like once. Like my longest period of time traveling was with my girlfriend. It's just fucking. There was so many hilarious things that we just saw that prompt to mind. But so you briefly went over it. Like traveling wise, like what actually really defines traveling as opposed to going for a like a holiday, because technically it's still traveling, but there's certain elements which
I think there's the literal definition of traveling, of moving from one place to another, right? And then there's traveling as like a concept of going out and experiencing something different, and just different, I guess. Like if you go to like a different country, it's different to what you are familiar with. So that's, and then doing that for a duration of time, and I don't know. It's a hard thing to explain because a lot of people have different interpretations of it. Like for me, traveling, if I say I've gone traveling, it's usually backpacking on a slower budget as I can manage. Nothing ridiculous. Like I've met people that kind of do it on a shoestring.
Definitely.
I want to enjoy myself a little bit. Like I want to enjoy myself whilst I'm not traveling. Especially when I'm like,
when you're like meant to be like having a good time, like traveling.
It really helps to have like it's more the opportunity to experience stuff. If you got a little bit of money in the back pocket, and then someone offers you like, oh man, we're going on this massive expedition, like once in a lifetime thing. Do you want to come join us? You're like, oh, sorry, mate, I don't have the money. It's like, fucking hell, you know what I mean? It's like, well, I might as well just stay home.
You're really doing it. Yeah, definitely, mate, definitely.
So having that little extra pocket money wherever you go and just being open to anything. That I think that's essentially what I consider as traveling. And, like, kind of going to like Magaluf with the boys. That's a holiday.
Yeah.
Whereas traveling is kind of experiencing the weird and the wonderful.
Yeah, and I think like that's it pretty much summarized. I think to me, I feel the same, and I feel like the difference is in two different parts for me. I think one is that you go somewhere new and you really try and, in a way, embrace a culture or even just experience like just seeing a different culture. Is one thing, and B, it's kind of doing it where you're actually, I don't know how to explain this. Like, there's holidays where you go and stay in 5-star hotels. People go all over the world, stay in 5-star hotels, and just stay in the resort. Yeah. And I wouldn't say you've travelled to that place if you haven't really, because what really did like is different between one beach and another. Not really much. The views that you see,
quality of the sun,
and and the quality of the beer, the free all inclusive beer. Yeah. But I mean, like that's my two like kind of main things. I think like if you're traveling really, I think it's going somewhere to experience the culture. Yeah. But I think it's also kind of experiencing like the realness about it, and I think like that's true because you can travel to places like America, and it hasn't got to be like, you know, it's not nitty gritty. You're going to see some nice places, and there's culture everywhere you go. Yeah. You know, it's not like we're talking about necessarily going to like the hard, like really the places of hardship in the world.
Yeah, you don't have to trek the Alps or like go in the fucking dirty grits of Cambodia to be traveling. Like America, definitely, like I've not been to America, but that is like that's like I put that on like the top shelf of travel experiences for me. I've not experienced it yet,
but people that do go have nothing but high things to say about
it. It's basically like you have one entry into the country and you got. How many states have they got now? 52, something like that.
I have no idea, mate.
Yeah, like I think it's.
The easy answer is that is I have no fucking clue.
They've got like 50 something or just 50.
Yeah.
States, and each one of them like has its own unique experience, and the size of the country, like the landscape and the environment's different, the people are different, the views are different, their accents are different.
That's it, mate. Yeah, that's
even
it.
the food's different.
That's
like you say America, but it's not like America's like just like a small country.
Yeah.
It's fucking huge.
Yeah, but also what I think though is what I was trying to get out with the hotels is I think a lot of traveling is generally getting outside of your comfort zone and stepping around and looking about. Yeah. And I think like that sounds really minimalist, but I think like for me, even when I did go on like an all-inclusive holiday with my girlfriend to Turkey earlier on in the year, you know, just getting out of the hotel, walking around the town centre, and just seeing different stuff. Yeah. Like that. Even for me is like I wouldn't class that as travelling, but still I've done something. I've experienced
like a holiday and a half.
Yeah. Now, so we've gone into what we think about travel, like what we define as travelling. Now, what is the travel cliche in your mind, in your idea? What would you define as the stereotypical traveller and their kind of image and perception?
See, so to kind of explain how my perspective of traveling is, I've kind of gone. So I think there's a couple. My first trip was just a solo trip. I always tend to travel solo.
Oh, these are from Thailand, by the way. These little
I've
coconut
noticed
bowls.
a sort of thing. Yeah, it's kind of like decorated.
I didn't even mean to put that. They've always been there. I've always kept them with me wherever I've gone. Yeah, they're pretty cool though.
Anyways, I brought back an elephant or something like that.
I brought back one of them, like a little elephant, a little
mine's like a big elephant like that, but I gave it to my mum.
What'd you do? Put it in your like hand luggage or something?
Yeah, I think it was my return trip, so I did have hand luggage. But I tend to just carry like I don't have many souvenirs as many places I've been, just simply because I travel with one bag. And I take the essentials and like the occasion like a bunch of tech and clothes basically.
Oh, we're jumping forward a bit here because I do actually want to ask you about that and how you pack. So keep that mindset. Let's go into stereotypes.
So so how I travel is essentially my biggest amount of traveling. The most quantity of traveling I've done is solo traveling.
Yeah.
So that's going by yourself, right? A lot of people kind of like thinking of that, having an anxiety attack, or Initially my first trip was just getting your feet wet sort of thing. I went on, I think it was Skyscanner, had a look, and I'm like, okay, where's the cheapest place that's cheap to travel to, and I can do in like 4 days.
What, for yourself?
This was just
solo.
me. This is my first trip, right? This is how I got my feet wet, and I found Prague, right? Highly recommend Prague as the first destination for anyone. And I went to Hostelworld, and I picked like a good rated Hostel World and hostels in general. You got to look at the good rated ones, right?
Yeah.
Don't just go on a whim and just book anything because you're gonna get fucked.
Because if you go for somewhere because it's cheap but has a rating of like 2.9 or something, I used Agoda. So these are shameless plugs. We shouldn't. we haven't got any sponsorship, obviously, but I used Agoda, which I really enjoyed using. But yeah, you've definitely got to filter it for like highest rating and good price as well. So
don't
you can
cheap
do
out
filters
on accommodation, basically.
Yeah,
and most
definitely.
places anyway. Well, Prague, the first time I went, I think the accommodation was £5 a night.
Jesus.
Right, and this was like low season when Prague wasn't as like a crazy popular destination. It was popular, but not crazy popular like it is now. So got booked the hostel, did the traveling, turned up, figured it all out on my phone. Got to the hostel, kind of felt like, okay, I'm here. I threw my bag in a room, met some random guy in my room, like, yeah, you alright, mate, whatever. Grabbed the fucking local map, and just went off and just walked around the town, found all the sites and stuff, just had a walk around. Came back and I was like, okay, that's the exploring element of my trip done.
And that's so exciting, mate.
Yeah, it's like just walking around, just having a look. It was good weather. Yeah. It was like just being in a different place. And
how old were you at this point? By the way?
I was just literally. It was 2 months after leaving the army, so 23, 24.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of just went off, no big deal. Got back to the hostel, and this is the primary reason to stay in hostels. Like I just kind of got my shit together, went down. There's like a bar area. I grabbed a pint. I sat down, was looking on my phone of things to do tomorrow. 2 guys sat down next to me, like, you alright, mate, how you doing? I think they were Germans. And they just started chatting to me. And I was like, okay. And they're telling me what they've been doing. They've been traveling for a little while. Yeah. They just kind of just sat down and talked to me. Then another guy turned up and goes, oh, you're right, guys. Can I join you? And you're like, yeah, come join us. Suddenly, like an hour later, there's like 7 people on our table. We're all chatting together. Don't know any of these people an hour ago. Then suddenly there's a bar crawl being organised.
Oh, fucking
we're on this bar crawl, mate.
They're mental in Prague as well, mate.
Fucking, I'm best mates with everyone in the hostel. All of a sudden, we're on this bar crawl. The drinks are cheap. Everyone's great company. You can talk to anyone. There's no like here in the UK, it's a bit weird because like you wouldn't just approach a random stranger to have a conversation. Over there, it's highly encouraged.
Yeah, definitely, especially in hostels, mate. Yeah, so especially in hostels.
Go up and then that was it. Basically, I was hooked on this traveling bug. Then I did a bunch of work, and then July next year, I finished work, did all my savings.
By the way,
yeah, I did. I saved up a bunch, and I thought, right, okay, 4 days was good. How about 2 months? Yeah. So off I go again. I went
before you get into that, what do you think? What do you think the stereotype is then? Just to summarize, what do you think the cliche, the stereotypical image of a traveler is?
See, that's the thing. Like, I really can't think of. There's a bunch of this groups basically. Yeah, there wouldn't be like a typical all-round kind of clustered one. Yeah. But there are typical. There's like the solo guy, right? Who's always like super social. That's usually me. Yeah. He's trying to get involved with anything. Probably a heavy drinker, heavy smoker. Yeah. Right, you'll be sat there, just trying to get along with everyone, trying to get involved with everything. That's usually me. Well, I like to think so. Then there's like...
mate, you're definitely that type, mate. You get on with people very easy. Thanks, you're a very well-spoken person. Yeah. And you're a friendly person. And that's what generally goes really well traveling.
You're trying to be approachable as like possible, you know? Like you see someone, like you see them looking for a light. You just observe people through the corners of your eye, you know? Like always carry a lighter on you, always carry cigarettes with you, and always have a beer with you, basically. If you want to be social, you've got the 3 things. Be ready
for all of those at all times.
Someone's looking for a lighter, boom, here you go, mate.
There you go, mate.
Oh, where you been?
That's a whole night out, isn't it?
Yeah, like, where you been, mate? Or someone, you're having a cigarette, someone's like, have you got a spit? Mate, fucking hell, there you go. Conversation all of a sudden. And, you know, it's like, it's that easy when you're traveling. Then there's people who tend to travel like in 2s or 3s.
Yeah.
a little bit less social, but much more social than people who travel in bigger groups.
Yeah.
So groups always stick together.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
is
definitely,
almost
definitely.
impossible to penetrate
Yeah.
a group.
Yeah.
So like you could, like don't
That
be.
sounded fucking.
I know it sounds weird, but like imagine they're all sat around on a table, they'll all know each
Yeah,
other.
yeah.
And you kind of like you don't go up to a group where everyone knows each other and be like, "Oh, you're right, guys. Do you mind if I join you?" Because first of all, you sat down. It's either everyone's attention is on you, which is not good, or everyone's kind of just like mugging you off, which is also not good.
Yeah, that
and then you
happens a
kind
lot,
of like
mate.
fucking float away.
Because
slowly.
what ends up happening is they're a little clique.
Yeah.
Because they're a clique in the travel world then, because they all know each other. They've all obviously been either friends or they're acquaintances of each other, and they're all getting closer and closer each day they're traveling because that's all they're fucking chatting to, and that's all they're spending their time with.
You say closer and closer. With most groups, I find, and then like, sometimes you get to pick someone away, right? For whatever reason, they'll be like by themselves, or like, you know, someone will go off for a cigarette, you're there, and you're like, oh, you with that group, or where you guys from, you know what I mean? And then they'll be like chatting away, and you'll be like, so how do you find traveling in a group? 90% of the time, they'll be like, oh, man, I've fallen out with this guy, fallen out with that guy, we're not getting along, planning is impossible, because you're trying to sort of take everyone's perspective and opinions all in one go.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're also on holiday.
Yeah.
So you want to go see this, you want to see that, you want to do this.
Yeah.
Your mate wants to see other things, then your other mate wants to see other things. Then suddenly you're separating.
Yeah.
Then you're separating in 4s and 5s.
Yeah.
And suddenly you're on a little individual cliques.
Yeah.
Obviously, with the people you find who you relate to most, and then it's kind of one of them like, okay, I get along with Jeff better than I do with Dave because you know we seem to be sharing like a closer sort of idea of what we want to do on this holiday, and suddenly you get along with them better, and then all of a sudden you find yourself more separated from each other, and you find out keeping this group together is much more difficult. And I've traveled in big groups, and this is exactly what happens. Like,
especially if you don't know each other before. Like, so I've seen people that have formed a group whilst traveling.
Yeah.
And then I've gone out with said group when I've been out before. When I've been traveling in different periods of time. And I've gone out with them. And then it just, like, when everybody's pissed, it just ends up coming out and they all fucking hate each other and they don't know how to fob each other off.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just
not the situation you want to be on a holiday in a different country.
It's easy just to be like to fob someone off. You just be like, look, I came traveling by myself and I want to fucking, you know.
Yeah.
But for me, what the stereotype of a traveller is, right? This was more prominent, obviously, before I first went travelling.
Yeah.
And more prominent, actually, before I actually went to Southeast Asia, because
Southeast
there was
Asia, elephant pants.
Yeah,
and
right.
dreadlocks.
There's mate, that's it. Right. So the media and movies portray like Westerners that go to Southeast Asia or Australia, maybe slightly more Australia.
You know what film gets this?
Yeah.
I mean, the film that pinpoints these stereotypes so well. In-Betweeners.
Yes, mate. Oh, fucking yes.
Mate,
exactly that, mate.
If you want to realise
that.
like the typical sort of perception of people who travel, and I think they get it almost spot on. They got the groups, they got the solo travel, and they got the fucking free spirit, a hippie.
Yeah.
And then you got the weirdos who's never done it before.
Yeah, definitely, mate. But like, this is the thing. Like, I like before I went, I had this perception in my head. So if you haven't seen the In-Betweeners, right? Well, I'll quickly summarize it. You can add in anything that you want. Interrupt me at any time and add in what you want. Right. From head to toe, these people, which for some reason, grab a beer. He's just gonna grab a beer.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby.
Person with dreadlocks that's got balloon elephant pants on that they got the first day of traveling.
Yeah, I'm like,
right?
Man, they're so comfortable. Makes me jump free, man.
They're like, right. They're like, look, when you go there, you really got to embrace the culture, man. And like, mate, and I met people like this. And mate, Right, first, just quick point. How many people did you see who were actually Thai or Cambodian that were wearing these fucking
None of them
ridiculous
fucking wear it, mate.
like fucking elephant pants?
It's no one because they know they look silly.
No one.
They know it's like the touristy thing. Maybe the guy selling them will be wearing them. Just be like, oh, look at these.
Yes, but I never saw like someone in the society like actually like in their societies wearing it. But the cliche is right. Dreadlocks, elephant pants. They're like all go on about how they're embracing the culture and they're
vegetarian.
You know, yeah.
At least.
Yeah, but like, and they're saying like they're embracing everything and they look down on Westerners that are doing anything that seems to be slightly Western, but then will contradict themselves and I will see these kind of people eating burgers and shit out there.
No, mate.
Also playing a guitar.
Yeah, mate.
And writing songs and thinking there's some like next musical prodigy.
I've come across that exact type of person you've like met, and this is Vietnam. Typically, it's like a Thailand thing, but Vietnam kind of like it leaks into Vietnam as well. And
by the way, the stereotype, quick one, is also like someone that acts like they're very, very passionate, like they are that way of life, like that is them down to a T.
Man, this culture's way better than everyone else, man.
Yeah, and
so peaceful here, man.
And that was the stereotype before I went, and I actually found and met fucking loads of people that fit exactly into that stereotype. And
travel hippie.
Yeah, exactly that, mate. And that is what's renowned as like, I went on a gap year, and that's another that's another part of the stereotype is that they're all like gap year students, and I didn't find that actually that people were on gap years, but that is the stereotype which people have, and like this just paints a picture of the sort of person that you can imagine, and I came in contact with that as well on many occasions in Cambodia, especially.
I've been around like the block a few times, and like I dress comfortably, right? So when I was in Vietnam or Thailand, I go to the fake markets and I buy all the fake shit, right? I buy all the clothes. I buy the nice synthetic tops. I buy the shorts. I buy not usually shoes because I just don't buy fake shoes. They're just a bad idea. They don't fit you right? But I dress like I would dress in the UK.
Yeah, the shoes are fucked, actually. The shoes and the...
Fake shoes are just proper weird.
I don't understand that, though. Like, they can get everything looking fucking perfect, but can't get the size.
It's the feet sizing, right? It's the feet sizing. But the thing is, you get like one shoe that's one size and the other shoe but it's labelled as one size. It's like as if the guy putting the labels on just fucks something. Oh, shit, which one's shoes which? Yeah. Oh, fuck. You know what I mean? But... like, I just dress as comfortably as I can on the budget. And I'm like, it's decent quality clothing. Of course, it's fake, but you know what I mean? I'm not trying to pose. It's just synthetic tops of the shit in the hot country. You're
exactly,
sweating all the time. You're like, it's washing them is super easy. They dry super quick. Wearing like cottony synthetic stuff, like elephant pants, for instance. They're going to shrink in the wash, mate. You know what I mean? I'm going to be buying that every time.
Definitely.
Right? So that's why hippies smell, mate, because they don't fucking wash their shit, because they fucking shrink. Right? And there's me, fucking modern technology, synthetic materials and that.
Mate, and they don't fucking shrink. One quick thing. I just want to say that eventually in this podcast, right, so if you stick around, I want to go into whether, like, us discussing whether or not these stereotypes can kind of demotivate people to go and can give a negative image. And evidently I want to go into whether or not we believe that, you should... how you should approach traveling and I want to motivate some people to go because it was one of the couple of the best times of my life. All the times which I've gone.
I aspire to when I'm feeling a bit down, I always think like, right, okay, when's the next time I can fork out some money and get away from like.
Just fucking drop everything off.
Yeah, and it's like for traveling for me more than anything is like I've gone past the phase of discovering new things and stuff. Right? Yeah. For me, a lot of the sort of attraction to traveling is staying in hostels. Yeah. Is kind of just living a fuck it, I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow sort of lifestyle.
Yeah, and definitely.
It's the constant influx of people that you meet constantly every single day. Yeah. Who are different and like you just kind of like in the UK sometimes you feel a little bit lonely.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's hard to meet new people. You're always busy. It's like real life, you know.
Yeah, like
And
what you were saying as well. It's difficult to approach people in the UK. Whereas when you're staying in a hostel, spirits are really high. Everybody's really happy all the time. People are like motivated. They've gone through fucking hardship. Well, some people may not have gone through hardship to save, but some people have grafted a long time. You know, I grafted about a year to go travelling at one point with my girlfriend.
Enjoy every moment, every aspect of it. But like when you're at home, like I understand it because like when you're busy grafting most of the time, you don't really have time, and then you're exhausted at the end of the day. You don't want to go out and kind of do whatever.
Yeah.
When you're traveling, every day is a fucking holiday.
Yeah.
So like and everyone just drops their guard almost. It's like that whole like, oh, I can't be asked with that person goes away because you can be asked with every person.
Yeah, of course.
Sometimes you meet the odd weirdo and it's like, okay, mate, stay away from me.
Yeah.
But most of the time, most people like who, like especially Western people who are on this sort of journey, they tend to follow a sort of, maybe that's a stereotype, but they tend to be not similar, but very sort of broad-minded.
Yeah.
So you're very open to things. You're very confident, and when you get a bunch of confident people together in one place, I mean, you get shit going.
Yeah,
like,
mate.
stuff,
For real.
like,
Yeah.
Like stuff is popping. You get the best fucking parties. You get the best sort of nights out. You get the best sort of chats, deep chats. I mean, I met like a random priest at my hostel last time, and we were talking about like
what the fuck?
Yeah, like he was just kind of just chilling out. He was this old geezer, and I was kind of chilling out. I was having a cigarette, and I'll go up to him like, "Oh mate, like, well, what are you up to?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm just staying." And he had like a house. This was in Bulgaria. He had like a house somewhere. He was there visiting someone, and he was staying like in a private room. And then it come out that he was like a priest, and he was like, and we were talking about like God and stuff like that. I was sharing my ideas about like Christianity, and he was sharing his like priesty ideas about I wasn't shitting on his religion by no means because I identify as a Christian.
Yeah. But you're just you identify as a Christian. A Christian. Oh, really? I didn't know that. But I knew that you had. Actually, this could make a cool podcast at some point if we discuss.
I'm not like
what
super. I'm untraditionally religious.
Yeah.
So
well, then let's not go into that. I don't want to go into that. That will spiral us off to a huge diversion.
Yeah.
But I want to get back to your story about what you were talking about in Vietnam. But but what was you just saying just then about?
So anyway, I just started talking to the priest or thing, and then I was like, well, this sort of shit doesn't happen at home. You know, when would I run into a priest? Full stop. And when would I have the time to have a chat about this sort of stuff?
Yeah. Of course.
And then this random, like, really deep hippie guy, like, no, it wasn't like a travel hippie.
Where was this?
This is Bulgaria again.
Right. Okay.
So he turns up, and then fucking stick or something. He was like, he had a big, bushy, weird, and he was like, just talking to him. He kind of just like, literally, like, he'll be inquisitive, like, like, he'll be staring and be like, yeah, like,
what,
actually listening
this hippie guy, right?
Like, actually listening to you, and then he would reply with, like, really comprehensive, intelligent replies.
Yeah.
So he's actually processing what you're saying. I've never talked to a person that was as his comprehension of everything I was saying was spot on 100%. Like, I'm like, whoa, this guy is sharp.
Right.
But his essence was really like as if he was stoned.
Right.
And I was like, wow, this guy's fucking on another level of like deep.
Yeah,
and
of
then,
course.
And like, it was, and then we were talking about politics.
That's another thing as well, which is a stereotype, is that they all speak. You know, they're really like this, man, and I'm high all the time, because that stems from a stereotype of a hippie, and like these are like new age travel hippies.
Like he looked like a hippie, but I think he was it was very something in this guy's head was very fucking special,
right?
And I don't think he even realized how like he was just super smart and super deep, but he was he was that way because he kept listening to people.
Yeah, right.
So I'll talk to him about like shit, and he would just kind of like, yeah, and then he would reply with something that made me think, and then I would reply with something that made him think.
Yeah.
And then we were like fucking proper. I could talk to him all day.
Yeah.
Like he was proper like triggering like proper weird and interesting concepts and thoughts in my head, and people like that. I've never run into.
Were you high or were you?
No, mate, we were 100%. Well, I say I was drunk and really fucking Nicky high, maybe, but, like on a lot of cigarettes. But like this guy was just like I
Next
don't know.
level.
Yeah, this guy was like he was totally sober, and I was like, man, are you like high or something? He's like, no, man, I've not smoked drugs in 10 years.
What the
I was like,
fuck?
Yeah, and I was like, wow, where have you been? And
Yeah,
he
yeah.
had a proper interesting story, but that's like a whole different.
Yeah.
So, but like meeting people like that was kind of interesting, and then I ran into this like interesting Spanish girl. She's like 37.
What, in Bulgaria as well?
Yeah. This is like the last place I've been. So a lot of these stories are kind of still fresh in my head. And then her whole life, basically, she was telling me that her parents were fairly well off.
Yeah.
And were very like nurturing people. So
Yeah.
her dad
Oh,
insisted.
this is another thing as well. Sorry, just to interrupt you. That's another part of a stereotype which I had, which is like daddy, like mummy and daddy's money.
Bank of mum and dad.
Yeah, exactly, mate. And there's a lot of people that go travelling on that. And I've got a story about that, which I'll come back with later.
Like it annoys me, but I think it's more a little bit more jealousy. But at the same time, if I had that sort of
Oh, mate, it's definite. I'm 100% jealous of that.
But at the same time,
if I could not work and graft my ass for a year and then just duck out and go travelling somewhere,
if someone came up to you now, this is a good thought experiment. If someone came up to you now and said like, "Here's 10 grand, go do whatever you want with it," what would you do with it? Like I would be very skeptical to start with. Like I'd feel uncomfortable having this money because like I've not earned it.
But that's mine and your kind of like humble beginnings in a sense because neither of us I think you'll be happy with me. You'll be fine with me saying this, but neither of me and you came from the most
there's no bank of mum and dad
affluent background. Do you know what I mean? Like we didn't have that growing up, and I think that makes us more kind of
appreciative of value of money.
Yeah, and if someone, if my dad were to just go to me like, here is X amount of money, like for no apparent reason, I'd think, is there something going on? Like, is there something? Is what's kind of
very unusual?
Yeah, very unusual. But I am jealous of that. You know what I mean? Like, it definitely envy there because
at the same time, though, I think. Like the fact that like you can't really put a value on their experience, basically, or find like a monetary value. You can't really value an experience, but as far as monetary value goes,
right.
I like to think of things very simply. So, like the 2 months traveling I did, it cost me this certain amount of money, and I'm like, okay, so that's how much that sort of experience would be cost at the time. So if I doubled that or tripled that, what can I achieve with that?
Yeah.
And it has to be bigger, better, and there's no sort of room for fucking up, basically.
Yeah.
Like if I spend 10 grand on this trip, the 20 grand trip better be twice as good. Otherwise I'm a failure. The whole trip's like, so I always strive to be better and achieve more with like the financial money, the finances that I do have.
Yeah.
So like I think that just through planning, but if you don't really have that value for the money, so if someone just gave you 10 grand and you're used to just be like, Mom, Dad, I want to go traveling. Okay, here you go, Jennifer. Here's 10 grand. Go enjoy yourself. And you're like, oh my God, I'm going to stay in 5-star hotels. Rent out an SUV. Oh shit, where's my money gone? Mom, can I have some more money? And it's that sort of like,
mate, you
don't appreciate it.
You've just described White Chicks, the movie White
exactly.
Chicks, mate. The girls from that, mate.
It's like one of them. It's like if you don't appreciate what you have, like just put a price tag on everything you own, and you really kind of start discovering what your life is all about.
Yeah, definitely.
And especially when the price tags are quite low.
Yeah.
Like, when they become high, you're like, fucking, I live in a nice apartment. I have
of
a
course.
nice car.
Of course.
And you really like appreciate the fact that you look after these things. And
definitely.
Like people who that kind of see you find that you respect your property more.
Yeah,
You know, you're not gonna fuck up your car. You're not gonna
Yeah.
do silly things in your room because
Yeah.
there's no safety net of
Yeah.
I'm gonna fuck up and someone's gonna pay for it.
Yeah, of course,
I fuck up, it's me.
That's your problem.
Yeah, and it's
That's your
always
money. That's
problem.
right,
It's
definitely.
responsibility, basically.
Yeah.
Some people just grow up without that sort of concept of being responsible for themselves or being responsible for the finances. Because
Yeah.
if someone's always willing to bail you out, you're gonna just grow up thinking that all
Yeah,
the
of
time.
course,
and
of
like,
course.
come when you're 40, you're like, well, I've been bailed out most of the time. Like, I'll just
And then,
go,
and then you're used to that.
you're more
definitely,
willing
mate,
to take
definitely.
risks that are just no, like when you weigh out a risk, you got to be like, okay, where's the benefit and where's the sort of, well, not the benefit, what's the opposite of a benefit?
Repercussion.
Yeah, repercussion of this
Yeah.
thing. But if you really don't have to think about the repercussion, you just kind of go fucking YOLO. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? And you're like, oh,
Mate, I'm gonna rent out an Airbnb. I'm gonna fuck that Airbnb up,
Yeah.
and then mummy and daddy will pay
it's,
for
it's
it.
on mum and dad's
Yeah,
credit
yeah.
card. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah,
don't care
they'll
what
get
happens to
charged for
me.
it.
Like, oh, they're just gonna tell me off, and then I'll go do it again.
True.
And it's like,
But yeah, I mean, so what was that story you were going to tell about Cambodians? When I prompted you about the stereotypes, you said that you met some guy, not Cambodia, maybe Vietnam.
yeah, it's Vietnam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I've got a question for you after that.
I can't remember what's going on about.
All right, well, let me ask you this, and then
Go on.
we can come back to that. So before you went traveling, right? So I'm assuming that maybe you had an idea that it may enrich you in some way or form. The traveler's kind of stereotype is that my whole life's like
discover
turned round,
yourself.
and I've enlightened myself. And did you find it enlightening at all? Or, enlightening may be the wrong word, but how did you find that experience, kind of on your personality and on your self growth?
And then initially, when you first like go off, it is just a good time, basically. Like there's no you're not there every day, just deep thinking about what you're experiencing. It's kind of like sometimes you have shit days, sometimes it's raining and you're staying in all day.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like it's just normal life, just in a different environment.
Yeah.
And that's cool. And for me, the whole traveling is just talking to people and getting to know people and like just going off and doing whatever I want for the day.
Yeah.
So the enlightenment to me, I wouldn't use the word enlightened because that kind of has connotations of like spiritual
religious,
enlightenment.
yeah, definitely.
Like, there's nowhere in my life I don't think I've ever been spiritually enlightened.
But like when the traveler's cliche is like found yourself.
Find yourself, discover yourself.
Like I think that in a way would describe somebody that did have a spiritual enlightenment.
Yeah, but maybe I did. Like, basically, before I went, like, my whole sort of life, and as we were talking before, it's all based in the UK, so it's all being work life, just rest, and I'm a very, I would say, introverted person. Like, I like, and introverted doesn't mean, like, you're kind of withdrawn and hate people. Yeah. It's just, like, I gain, like, they explained to us, I gain my energy from being alone.
Yeah.
And then I can use that energy with other people.
Yeah.
And I'll appear to be introverted, but then again, they'll be like, oh, do you want to go out to a bar? I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah,
like, I'd rather you've had enough of me today. I need some of me.
You need your time. Yeah, that's fine.
That's introversion.
Whereas extroverts can gather more energy from being with people.
Yeah, so you're always around people.
Yeah.
And
in order to be happy,
exactly. So like being introverted alone to kind of sticks with me, and because of that, it kind of you kind of develop like a loneliness. What's it called? Complex.
Right.
So you're always
with introversion.
Yeah, with introversion. I find that anyway. That because you prefer to be alone a lot of the time. You feel that sometimes. Like, it's harder to get along with people because you don't like going out. You don't like being, like, out and about all the time, fucking bouncing off the walls.
Right.
Like, I prefer to be alone, and, like, that's what I enjoy myself the most sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Right? And that again, that has connotations. I'm sitting around wanking all day, but that doesn't specifically mean that. Right? But, like, you develop this kind of, and a lot of people, it's hard to explain, but I'm almost certain a lot of people will be able to relate with the loneliness complex that you're not really lonely.
Yeah, I relate with that.
Yeah, you're not really lonely, but you kind of feel a bit lonely, sort of thing. It's that's why it's a complex.
Yeah.
It's a complicated.
Yeah.
Because
on the grand scheme of things, like in that scenario, you may be in a hostel, you may be in a 12-bed dorm. You know, there may be people all around you. However, you feel that you need that space, but also you're lacking that connection, and it's difficult. It's like a merry-go-round of, do I then step out of my comfort zone because I know that, you know, I need my own space in order to regather my kind of energy, but then you're also like, right, okay, do I stay in, but then I completely miss that, and it's that like FOMO element, you know, fear of missing out. But yeah, anyways, go on, carry on. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, so like I've kind of had this sort of introverted mindset of just being alone. So when you go traveling, especially staying in hostels, as you were saying there, like it's hard to get that time alone. And I thought I had this sort of big anxiety of I'm not going to be able to cope. There's going to be too many people. But what I've discovered about myself, so this might be enlightening or self-discovery in a sense, that I actually I adapted very well to the idea of not always or having that time to recover.
Okay.
Right? Or I'm kind of make space for that, but in ways that you wouldn't necessarily think you would kind of make a space.
Right, that's interesting.
So, for instance, staying in a hostel, you're in dorms, you're never really alone.
Yeah.
But I would go out by myself, and I'd go explore things by myself. So that'll be my sort of time to be alone during the day. But at the same time, it's a productive time to be alone.
Yeah.
So I'll be
course.
off by myself, and I love wearing sunglasses. Any travel photo you see me, I'll be wearing my Ray-Bans, right? Because I kind of like the idea of like, I'm alone in myself. People can see me, but they don't see my fucking sketchy eyes, you know what I mean? I have
what you're exactly looking at. And right, okay.
Like, I hate making eye contact with people. Like
it's like an engaging. Is that why you dislike that? Is it because you don't? If you catch eyes with someone, it's more there's more chance of engagement.
It's easier to ignore people, basically. Like I'd love to engage with every single person I go along with, but sometimes you don't want to engage with them for
too much.
reason.
And like you say,
otherwise you're not going to be making progress.
Yeah, and like what you were saying, it's easy to fall into you know, chatting to someone for 5 seconds could end up like being with them a whole
Suddenly
night.
You're fucking buying an apartment.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. Yeah. So
it's that. So I kind of discovered the fact that being alone doesn't mean just being alone. You can be around people, but you can kind of introvert yourself in your own sort of specific way. That I'll be alone, I'll be looking at sites, I'll be taking pictures, I'll set out goals for myself each day. Like, I want to see this, I want to see this, I want to see this. I'm going to probably go try out this restaurant. Yeah. And then you're there by yourself, and I have no sort of conception of going out and eating by myself as like a bad thing. Like, I do it all the time.
Yeah.
Right, and like people have like, oh, would you ever go to the cinema by yourself? I'm like, yes, fucking all the time. I prefer it almost. And it's like, and to some people that's like, oh my god, that's so weird.
No, mate. I would generally do that. Like, genuinely do that. Sorry. If someone,
film, you know what I mean?
If I want to see something, like if I've been looking forward to it for X amount of time, it's really up my street.
Yeah.
Like there's a movie there's a TV series which I really liked, and basically it's not a very well known one. I'll tell you after. But basically, and for some reason my girlfriend never liked it. Right, it was just one of those things. And anyways, and so I was like, right, okay. And then they brought out a movie of this TV show, and I was like, right, okay, I really want to go see that. I would have absolutely no quarrel in doing that in that scenario because I know that it's a niche thing which I enjoy in that sense. And what it was just an anime series. My girlfriend didn't like anime. That's it. And anyways, but yeah, and she didn't want to see that, and it was as simple as that, and I wouldn't have any problem with doing that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, carry on, mate.
Yeah. So it's kind of like that's what I kind of discovered about myself is that there are different ways to recharge as an introvert, sort of person. And then I'd come back to the hostel, and I'd be ready to fucking go party, go out, you know, like wherever. I tend to always stay at hostels that have bars. or bars nearby, or somewhere to socialize, like a big social area. So you can kind of come down from your room, you'll sit there, and you just go out.
Yeah.
And I call it just fishing, where you see like if someone sat alone or someone sat on the two, something like that, and you kind of go and just talk to the person. There's like no, like they're not very unlikely that they're gonna think you're a bit weird, and if they do, fucking have a chat. You're right, guys. You're not getting along. And like, I'm gonna head off, get another beer, and then go sit down with someone else. It's as easy as that.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it's like just kind of read the situation, and you learn to read that.
Yeah.
And so my whole idea of like that, I'm gonna struggle traveling because I'm more introverted and I don't feel like I'm a social person as much, or I lack the social skills to do that. I discovered I really didn't. I actually really thrived in the travel environment where, I do get to have that time alone doing something cool and interesting, of like discovering new stuff in a new place, and then I get to come and meet a bunch of new people. I get to have like the best time ever, just talking, discovering, and every day is like talking to a new person. It
literally.
And it's like all conversations are fresh. Like you never find yourself repeating yourself because you never are, because it's a new person. And they're always finding you interesting. You're always finding them interesting. And because you've been practicing talking so much about the same shit, it's a very good sort of, you could lead your conversation much better. So it can be very.
I think, mate. Like you've actually raised a very, very interesting point, which I never thought going into this conversation we'd actually go into. So what you're saying is when people say, they found themselves, etc., they are referring to, like what we said, a spiritual enlightenment. Yeah. What you're saying is you actually experienced some kind of self-discovery, but it was more in the sense of just how you would approach a certain situation. And as you say, you're an introverted individual in most circumstances. I don't believe anyone should ever be like personal beliefs. I don't think anyone is fully extrovert or fully introvert. I think you're on that scale, and I don't think you can really be pinpointed anybody, because some experiences
it's how
you may
you
be
deal with your I think either someone usually you kind of know if you are or you're not. Like I definitely know I'm introverted. When someone explained it to me, like you find the time to recharge yourself alone. It just kind of made 100% sense to me. Like, that's it's because I never really felt like I'm not introverted because I don't really like keeping myself to myself. I like talking to people. But when you put it on that scale of you like to recharge alone, it doesn't mean you're antisocial. I'm like, fucking hell, that 100% makes sense. I'm 100% introverted.
But you've hit something really important there, like quite quick into this, which is really good. So basically what you're saying is you've gone out there with this preconception that shit, I'm an introvert, I've never really done this sort of thing before. Am I correct in saying that? And a lot of people, especially that I've spoken to, that are kind of in a few minds about actually going, experience that and feel that anxiety. And what you've ended up going and doing is you've actually stepped out of your complete comfort zone, and you've actually learn from that and adapted. And I think, mate, that's a fucking great thing to take away from that, because people can be like, yo, man, like I went into the rice fields of Vietnam, and like, oh man, it really put it in perspective, because
taste of rice is freshly grown.
Literally, mate, and it's like, mate, and it's like
microwave, mate. Just about as fresh as I want it.
But and it'll also be like, and then they'll root it back and be like, yeah, man, like there was like a coffee bean farm, and like we got the coffees.
Never really tasted real coffee until you experienced coffee.
And it's like, mate, and it's like, mate, these are the people which are like grafting to get our coffee over here, man. Back in the UK, them anti-establishments, and it's like, it's all fucking bollocks, mate. Fuck off, mate.
I am fully aware that this exists already. I don't need to go see it.
But mate. There's, not getting. I don't want to get into that deepness of that point that I've just brought up, but it's stuff like that, like. That they're trying to, challenge this stereotypical hippie thing, whereas you've actually taken something very productive away from that.
If anything, it built. Like, I'm very sort of capitalist, independent, sort of like. I want to say, sort of I'm very responsibility driven. Like, I feel that like. every sort of, if you are feeling down, it's all you. Like everything, the way you perceive life is all 100% up to you because it's your own personal perception of things.
Right.
So
like, you encourage kind of like free thinking.
Free thinking,
and you know, being open to anything.
Free thinking, like if you are easily influenced by like, if you don't like, I question every fucking thing I hear. Right. If someone gives me a news article and I'm like, that doesn't seem quite right. I'll kind of look into it. Sometimes I'm aware that I can be very like, you have a bias towards something. Someone gives you a bunch of information that kind of meets with that bias you already have.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, fair one. I kind of accept that because it kind of makes sense to what I already believe.
Yeah.
But also have that, be like 80% certain, but always 20% wrong.
Right.
Always be willing to have that margin of I am wrong. And I'm willing to accept more rational information.
And you took that mindset with you like, traveling as well.
I kind of built that over time. Like,
through traveling, you think?
Yeah, through traveling. People kind of like, you have, again, another stereotype of like, you get open-minded, you kind of discover new things, you know, different lifestyles and stuff. Yeah. What I discovered is like, mate, West is the best. Right? I mean? Like, I like where I live. I like the type of life I have here. And there are very good aspects to other cultures and different lifestyles. Yeah. But would I trade my current life? Well, my current life, fucking yes, I'll trade it for a fucking toothpick. But like the sort of the way I could build my life and the potential I have in the West, I wouldn't sacrifice that for like, and no hippie fucking lifestyle of I'll discover in Thailand or become like a Buddhist monk or something. Although I have considered that. Kind of
have you actually?
Oh mate, like
there are people. I met people that had done stuff like that.
I thrive of like this again, another travel sort of thing that occurred to me. Like,
can we quickly take a break so I can go for a slash? Right. Okay, we'll be back in 2 secs. Okay, we're back. Do you want to check your mic's working?
Checking my mic's working. Yeah.
Okay. We just went for a quick little piss. Anyways, we're back. Back to. I don't know what that song's called. Is it Back to Black? Is that the song? Fade to Black? No, Fade. Is it? Wait, what is it? I don't know.
Amy Winehouse.
Anyways,
Back to Black.
Is it Back to Black? Is it Back to Black?
I don't know.
It's an Amy Winehouse tune, but I don't know. Anyways, but anyway, all right. What was I going to speak about as well? There was something that I was going to speak about. Anyways, no. Quick one. What we were talking about earlier, right? We were speaking about. You said that earlier, basically, that people have loads of money and go on these experiences, and Ponce basically off of their parents, right? I've got a quick little story that I just want to tell quick. So last summer I spent some time in India. I spent just under. I can't remember. It was just under a couple of months, I think, like six weeks or something, in India, and I was volunteering. I was volunteering in a slum area, and what?
No, that's just the sugar.
Oh, what? Fucking got you. Anyways, I was volunteering in the slums. I was basically teaching English and some other bits like maths and just some other little bits, just in like a slum school. So I was just helping out where I can, basically. I'm fully aware that I'm not an English teacher. I'm fully aware that I'm not a maths teacher, but just having myself there to assist these kids was very rewarding.
Indian kids need that algebra, mate.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Yeah. But anyways, I was there. And I'd been there for about a month at this point, right? And I was volunteering every week. And there was a period of time before the following people enter this story. I'd been by myself for a week at this point. And I'd really grown a connection with all of the people that worked in this school. I was really trying to understand what their vision was, and I was trying to help in any way I can, basically. I knew that basically, just as a bit of backstory, these people had decorated this school, right? The school was basically just 4 walls, right? It was literally 4 walls that was basically just like caved in. Yeah, it was basically caved in. And there was just tarpaulin over the top so that when the fucking monsoon rain came, I don't know if it's called the monsoon rain, but when it rained, it fucking rained,
rain
mate.
Season,
and when it did rain, instead of like, it didn't work, like, but it was tarpaulin, and it was to try and stop as much rain as it
fucking turn their building
would
into a
come in
swimming
and
pool.
just completely ruin it, basically. And anyways, and I'd been there, and I was there, you know, and I was just trying to help as much as I could. And when I arrived, I could tell that they'd recently painted it, right? So they recently painted this place. They'd recently whoever was volunteering probably before me did it, like a couple of months before.
Yeah.
And they painted stuff on the walls, and the kids all got involved. You know, they did like handprints, and they were all painting like letters on the walls and stuff like that. And the most stereotypical middle class travelers, right, turn up and are literally like hating everything and critiquing everything, and they were walking into our school, right, and walking into where we were, and where we were staying, with other volunteers, and they were walking in, turning their nose up at things. They walked into the school, and like they were like, oh my God, is that how you're eating your food? Like, these kids were sat on the floor eating their food with their hands because they've got nothing else really. And also that's culture, and also that's a cultural thing as well. And this was a couple, right? And they walked in together, and they were like, that's disgusting kind of thing. And on the first day they arrived at the school which I was volunteering at, I arrived there, and I was like, I said hello, and like 15 minutes later they walk through the door, and they walk in, and without even saying hello to anyone, they looked around the place, right, walked straight up to me, like they were like it's hard to explain, right, but the kids were coming up to him, and they were like, oh my God, like feeling like a celebrity kind of thing, right? And they were like completely taking advantage of that, and thinking that they were like, I'm a god because I've got money kind of thing. And that's the mentality kind of thing that they were going at. And they came up to me, and they were like, is this it? And I was like, what do you mean? And they were like, is this the whole school? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, this is fucking awful. And I was like the conditions were bad, yeah. And they were like, no, like the paint's running off the walls. They were like, oh my God, we're going to buy some paint. We're going to paint this place. And it's the idea, right? It's the stereotype that you go to, these travelers go to like, I don't know, Kenya, or go to somewhere, build a well, paint a couple of walls and fuck off. Like, they don't actually care for the people, but they want to take a picture and share it on their social media to show, like, to give this impression that they've done something life-changing. And so they came in, they were like, right, the first day they were like, right, we're going to go buy some paint, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. They brought all this paint there, right, to this school, and they went and put it down, right? They didn't buy anything to cover up all of their prized possessions, or they had little things, man, tiny little things that literally valued more than anything. They didn't buy any sheets. They had one rug. So let me just put it in perspective.
So they've never painted fuck all in their life.
No, never. And right, so it was a concrete floor, concrete floor with a rug that was basically made from different cut up bits of carpet, basically. And it was one rug on top of this thing. And they came in, they had the rug, which these kids literally worshipped it, mate, because a lot of them would sleep on the street, right? So literally having something soft, mate, was fucking they loved it, mate. And anyways, they came in, they put the paint down, they opened the paint pot, they turned to me and the other teachers, right? In the entire school, there was me, a head teacher, and 2 assistant teachers, right? And they turned to us, we were stood there, and they turned to us and went, Jordan, I've got the paintbrushes. We're just going to go out and buy them some pens and pencils and stuff. Can you get painting? And I'll see you in a couple of days. They were meant to volunteer full working hours for every day they were there, right? Yeah. They ducked out straight away. So the first moment they came in, they went, this is disgusting, went and brought paint. Brought the paint back, right? Then after 2 seconds, they opened the pot, So there was paint already on the rug, right? They took the lid off, put it on the floor, as if they were like, right, this rug's disgusting. It doesn't matter if it gets fucked, right? Then they threw basically the paintbrushes down. They put all the stuff there, right? And then they went, right, okay, Jordan, like everything's there. Get going. I will see you in a couple of days. We're gonna get some pens. I was like, what? You're not gonna help? They were like, oh no, like we're really busy. And then all of a sudden, after I asked them to help, right, 10 minutes later, the girl in the relationship starts acting as if she was ill, as if she had a stomach bug, so that they apparently had to go back to the place where we were staying, the volunteers staying. I went back there about 3 hours later after I just grafted in 40-degree heat painting, right? It turned out that they'd signed themselves out of where we were staying and went and checked themselves into a hotel, like a 5-star hotel, right? And they'd just been out gallivanting. Is it gallivanting or gallivanting? I don't know. Well, they were out and about going to these top restaurants on TripAdvisor and going to the best markets and like taking photos and putting it on social media. And then, anyways, the worst thing about it, 2 weeks later, so I'd been grafting for weeks, mate, like to get that all sorted. Like, firstly, giving it a fucking lack of paint, and then secondly, I was scrubbing the fucking rugs, trying to get all this paint off of it, and then thirdly, all the kids were like, all of my paintings are now off the walls, which they really loved. So all the kids were like wanting more paintings. So then I had to fucking help them all paint these massive walls again by themselves, which was fun, to be fair. I enjoyed that part of it. But then they came back after that period of time. I was like, fucking hell, funny to see you lot. It's all fucking done now. Took pictures and put it on social media, and when we had the best time painting these walls for these kids. Oh, mate, that my fucking emotion. I was like, fucking hell, mate, what the fuck? I've still got proof of all this painting, right? Because I've got a pair of shorts which are fucked because of it. I've got paint marks on my shoes that are in the hallway there. That were covered because I was just so. I've got photos on my other phone, which is upstairs, that are literally like me painting walls by myself, and I was having to scratch shit off the walls. And mate, like that experience was one of the worst I actually had because that was the first time I'd actually come in contact with it. Like they were like these guys were minted. They were They were actually on their gap year from university, in between college and university. They were like 21, I think. I think they took a couple of years and then went. And mate, it was just fucking. It was the whole experience got me so mad, mate, because they came in, took a photo of the walls that me and these teachers had grafted over, and then they picked up all the kids, and this was their last day before they actually fucked off somewhere else to go travelling. So they'd actually spent about, I don't know, like an hour in total in this place. And they just like taken photos and stuff. And then they took a photo with all of the school like this and put it on and was like, yeah, like we painted and changed the lives of painted the school and changed all the life of these kids, and was like, we spent so much time with them, such an amazing experience. And I sat back at my it was like a hostel kind of thing later on that evening, and I just sat there and I was like, fucking hell, mate. I couldn't live with myself and that actually happens, which was shocking to me because I'd never experienced people exploit that situation before. And that's full exploitation, mate. That's full exploitation.
See, I've always the reason I have been on one of these volunteer projects, but the whole so the concept of going out and volunteering to stuff like going to the typically poor places like Africa, India and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And those sorts of places, I always kind of had that perception of you're going over there and it's typically, like you said, the rich kids who kind of want to tickle their egos a little
Yeah.
bit. Like,
Yeah,
I want to
yeah,
go
yeah.
there, I want to change the world. I'm
Yeah,
gonna,
certainly,
like,
certainly.
fucking dig a well or some bullshit.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. And then paint a few walls and then put it on their social media,
And
basically.
I've always like wondered, like, what is the actual point of going over there and volunteering?
Oh, by the way,
time?
I just want to quickly say, just
Yeah.
in case my boy from that I met over there, my mate, he's fucking safe. Like I met him over there, and he helped out a couple of days. So I want to give credit to him as well because he's fucking sick. Anyways, carry
You're
on.
all right, lad,
mate. He's fucking lovely guy, mate, and he helped me out massively. He wasn't even meant to be volunteering this week, and I called him and I was like, "Yo, is there any way if you're still in India, can you give me a hand?"
Yeah.
And he was traveling all the way to me every day, mate, and he's fucking
what
lovely
a sound guy.
But yeah, anyways, carry on.
But yeah, like those sorts of, and it's typically you, and the amount of people I've met who've been on these sort of thing, they've got similar stories to you.
Really?
And like it happened. Like it's usually these sort of like preppy kids, who kind of go over there and they go over there just to kind of like tickle their ego. Like, I'm gonna go dig a well in Africa. Or I'm gonna go like change the world by like doing this thing or teaching in a school, and it's like, okay, that sound and all that, but I think there'll be more qualified people out there already that live in the village who would really appreciate the work and the money to go dig their own fucking well. What makes you, preppy ass little kid, more qualified to dig a well than this lad who's been grafting all his life who
like,
wants
they would
this
probably
village?
appreciate the money more than
what
your
I always
time.
thought.
Yeah.
So like, if I was to do a volunteer, and these sort of volunteer projects never get any light in the day, but they are the ones that actually make 90% of the difference. Like, we don't need these Westerners to come over who have zero qualifications in infrastructure or anything.
I want to quickly say the reason why I did my volunteering project.
The meaning is good behind it, but there's no real point in it.
No, like the thing is you know what I was fully aware before I went out, and I'm fully aware now that what major difference can you really make in someone's life only being there for like 5-6 weeks? But you know, I basically I was encouraged by university to go, firstly, right? Very encouraged by university to go. And I'd always loved the idea of doing something like that. But what ended up happening was, like I said, I experienced that. And I mate, I'm going to be brutally honest here, completely truthful with you. And I tried fucking my hardest with it, mate. And I really did. I tried everything I can to teach these kids as much as I can. And towards the end of it, when realism started sinking in, and it was the fact that I knew that I wasn't making too much of a difference. That I was like, it was like, I'm feeling a bit shit that I couldn't do more. And you know, you grow a connection with people, man. Some of these kids had no parents, and there was some horrible stuff that had happened to their family and stuff. And I was like, fuck, like I feel so fucking.
Oh yeah, don't get me
awful.
wrong. I'm not like you being there. You probably had a bigger impact on these kids than like you'd think, because you're going over there and you kind of see this Westerner, and they probably have this connotation of like, you know, you're there, and you got your perfect life over back home, but you're here giving a fuck. Like you're
exactly,
there grafting, painting their walls, and you're like having fun with them, and you are just a normal person. So the next time they see a white guy, they're not going to be like. Like terrified of you. They're like, you know what? These guys
There'll be
aren't
connotations
bad.
there to what I've done is a good thing. Like.
So like you kind of building a reputation for your people, basically the white people, essentially. Because that's what they'll associate them with. Like, there was one time this white guy turned up and he painted our walls. Like, that was nice of him.
Well, the thing was that all I wanted to do was go there, have this nice experience where I felt like I could. Right, so I taught them a couple of things, right, which I was really proud of. I taught them past and present tense English, which they hadn't approached before, which I was fucking so happy. Which when they started picking this stuff up. and I was introducing exercises into their day, like literacy and numerical exercises into their day, which they'd never done before, and just getting that into their daily, because what ended up happening was the teachers that were there before, like that were there permanently, they were picking up my techniques, and it was more actually beneficial in that respect, because I'd never taught before. I'm not a fucking teacher, but I'd obviously we've gone to Western educational institutions, and I've picked up, just by experiencing and just by like visually kind of taking in what's how their methods of teaching, and then just by showing that to the teachers over there, then they can then develop that, and then I'm hoping that they've used a few of those to really teach, their skills.
Yeah, places like that, and
develop the kids' skills.
Yeah,
sorry.
like when I was in Ukraine, that's where I did my volunteer thing.
Right.
The main thing that I found that was really beneficiary to them was the fact that I was actually like a full-blown English speaker. This is my day-to-day life.
Yeah, definitely.
And like people, like the teachers there, they're brilliant, but they're not English, right?
Yeah.
So their language skills come from being learned language skills, and there's a massive difference between learned and natural speaking.
Yeah.
So they can call, like, a person who's learned English from a book and can pass every English exam going will turn up over to the UK and they will struggle because of the accents, the flow, the sort of inside meanings of things, and just all that sort of connotations of the language that we take for granted just being in the UK. And you go to like Yorkshire, you go to like Wales or something like that, they're still speaking English, but even you're struggling with like, what the hell were you talking about? So the thing, but for them it's like it's a whole different bag of pickles, mate.
Definitely, mate, definitely.
So you going over there and listening to these, and some of the kids I was working with, they were fantastic. They were like 7, 10, some of them were like 7, 10, 12-year-olds, 14-year-olds, especially the older kids, the 14, 15-year-olds. Their English was phenomenal. Yeah. And the way they were learning it was through the internet, through gaming, talking online, watching stuff. And that's how I initially started learning my English skills when I first came over here from Estonia, was cartoons on TV. So I was 7, and I was like, oh, cheese, hello, goodbye, that sort of shit, as a kid. And then I turn over here and it's like it's not that unfamiliar. Like I recognize
Tom and Jerry
these.
And shit.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Tom and Jerry. That was one of my favorite cartoons.
I fucking love Tom and Jerry.
Still
mate.
to this day, one of my favorite cartoons, mate. It's real, mate. It's real.
Yeah.
It's a struggle of a cat and mouse. They hate each other, but they seriously have like a love connection. In some episodes, mate, you see how deep these guys go. Their whole life revolves around hating each other.
But it's that sweet spot, mate, of love and hate, mate. Because there's
sometimes they got to team up against like the dog or something. Yeah, and he's picking on them both.
That's
and then they go back to their own normal life. So they're chasing each other. Every cartoon, like, it's real, mate.
That's a blimp of reality right there.
Mate, like old school stuff like that, like they're smoking cigars, they're doing drugs and shit. And I'm not, as a kid, like, fucking hell, drugs are bad. I don't want to end up like steroid Tom over there. And now they're all banning, they don't even know what the fuck's going on.
There's a lot of episodes which are kind of like banned now, which don't get aired and stuff.
Like, people like smoking and shit in them,
it's fucking
like,
crazy.
Fuck? It's fucking real life, mate. People smoke, just because you display doesn't mean it's cool.
It's true.
I mean, like, everyone knows it's bad.
But anyway, so before you left, right, you had like an idea of what traveling was going to be like then. I guess when you were there, so I'm going to word this in a way where I'm getting my point across to you correctly. So what my question is that before I went traveling, especially to Southeast Asia, was through social medias, through Instagram, through Facebook, both from influencers and from people which I know that have just gone traveling. I thought that traveling was going to be this very, like, all the time, very picturesque, very like, how do you describe it? Just like not euphoric. What's the word? Just very like amazing, just
I know
constant,
what you mean,
like every experience,
like,
incredible.
Scenes
like,
for days,
yeah,
basically.
Yeah,
like
the
every corner you turn, it's like a brand new picture of a
exactly.
fucking painting.
And the water is gonna be fucking like turquoise everywhere, and mate,
dolphins
and
jumping
yeah.
and you're like,
and there's like fucking turtles everywhere.
Yeah,
like,
fucking-
wait, are turtles the one that swim? Or
turtles get like tortoise. One of them.
Yeah,
anyway.
one of them. But you know what I'm saying. And like pigs fucking in an island somewhere,
Yeah.
swimming around an island, and
Fucking
like
guy making your mojito on the
yeah,
beach. Like, hello, my friend.
yeah.
They're dead happy
and
in that.
And like, mate, like, what I'm trying to ask is that was my perception. What is your idea of what your reality of traveling was?
Well, to be fair, sometimes it is that.
Yeah.
Like particularly, one of my favorite places I've been
This
into.
bastard here is digging into my back. I'm getting rid of that. There's a headset into my back, but it's fuck off.
One of my favorite places I went to was an island called Koh Tao in Thailand.
Right.
I ended up there almost by accident.
Okay.
I ended up on an island by accident. No,
Yeah.
there's a story. Basically, I turned up in
I got
Bangkok.
pissed one night. And,
I turned up in
I
Bangkok.
walked over the water.
Exactly. I just kind of I was like, oh, I'm here now. I might as well stay. But yeah, I was in Bangkok and I was staying at this hostel and I met these three English guys.
Yeah.
And they were like sound guys, got along with them, kind of went out with them, you know, went drinking, discovering shit. And then they were like, they were like all together, like looking for somewhere to go scuba diving, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. So I'm really good at research. Like that's one of my fortes as a person. If you want to know something, ask me and give me like a day.
Yeah.
I'll come back with you with a substantive list of things you need to do and how to get there.
Yeah.
Right. So they're like, oh, we're gonna go scuba diving. I'm like, guys, leave it with me. I'll have a look for you because I want to go myself. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah. Like I'm like, do you mind if I go with you? And they're like, mate, you're practically part of us. I'm like, I've known you for like half a day, but all right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's traveling for you, mate. We're best mates and we've known each other for half a day.
Mate. Yeah.
Right, so I've done my research, found this place, email a bunch of people. They're like, yes, we've got spaces. Yes, we've got spaces for 4 people. This is the price for you. I'm like, okay, sick. Pictures to the guys. They're like, fucking hell, that's way cheaper than we thought. Let's go there.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, give me 5 minutes. Arrange all the transport for us. We're off.
Jeez,
right?
yeah,
And they're like,
right.
fucking hell, this guy's fucking, we're keeping this guy around.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, if you offer something to people
Yeah.
keep you around.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
thing.
of course.
That's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
always have a value to someone. And
Yeah.
you always like, it's almost like people use you a little bit, but that's like, as long as you are aware of like, you know what I mean?
That's happening. Yeah,
But the
yeah.
fact that I just integrated myself into a group
Yeah.
and brought them value, they appreciate that fact, and
Yeah.
I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, of course.
right?
Yeah.
So,
Like I said before, you're an easy to get on with guy, mate. So,
Because I offer
when
people
you,
stuff that they wanna
So,
know.
so if a group's willing to let you in, you're gonna get on with them, like. Do you know what I mean?
So we go to the scuba diving island. We're all sharing a room.
And also, it's safer in numbers. Anywhere
Yeah.
you go in life is safer in numbers.
See, another thing about travel, people say like, "Oh, is it safe to go alone?" Right? I'm a 6'2", 110 kilo guy, right? Like if someone's gonna try and rape me, they're gonna need a lot of drugs to fucking sedate me to start with.
right.
And I've got my wits about me, sort of
Right,
thing. Like
right.
I'm looking out for shit all the time. Not even. It's like a subconscious sort of awareness.
Right,
Like, if I see
right.
something sketchy going on, I'll be like, what's going on there? I mean,
And you'll avoid it, kind of thing.
yeah, and it's like if you like people following someone's moving too close to you, someone's like.
So what would you advise if you weren't, you know, your height and your build and
Just it's all
because
about,
it is safe. You can do it.
It's fair. Generally speaking, yes. Yeah, you hear stories about people ending up in shit, but don't approach situations that you don't feel confident in.
Yeah.
There's a difference between breaking your comfort barriers and just being stupid.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
always analyze the risk of what you're doing, and
Yeah.
always analyze like, is it worth it or not?
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Yeah.
And
You know, don't. You know, like if you're
stupid for the sake of
if you're by
stupid.
yourself, right, and someone comes up to you and goes, "Oh yeah, do you want to buy a liter of bottle of vodka, right, on the street?" And you're like, because this happens a lot, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I got
Drugs
approached loads.
particularly.
Yeah, drugs and booze.
Oh, what a That's kind of pretty forget.
To you, I'm just going to use the vodka as an example, and they're like, right, I've got a litre bottle of vodka. I'll sell it to you for
too good to be true.
£2, yeah. And basically they're like, right, okay, my stall's just down this alleyway or something. You're by yourself. You know, don't be an idiot. Just fucking, you know, what's the point of risking it for that? Just don't. And then you'll, you know, keep in lit areas. And a lot of the time, because these economies, a lot of these economies rely on tourism. A lot of the societies like will look out for you, and I've had it before where I've seen like people basically trying to scam tourists, and then other people from their own culture have like hit them and stuff and like told them to piss off.
Yeah,
basically
giving them a bad reputation.
Because what ends up happening is these people are trying to, you know, you are keeping a lot of their families fed and doing these things by just buying like, I don't know, a couple of things from their stall and stuff like that. So if that gets a bad reputation, then people will avoid that, and they don't want that. But anyway, sorry, carry on. So.
Oh, Froggy when he courting, he did ride Crambo.
All of the people that you're going traveling with.
Picturesque, mate. Like I got there with the guys. We did the scuba diving thing, and we're staying at this kind of like scuba diving resort, nothing special.
Right.
And then after that, those guys headed back. So I'm there by myself. So I booked myself like a hostel on the beach. Fucking banging hostel, right? Like I didn't expect it to be this good, but it was pretty good. I had, it was a 3, 4, 5. There's 5 beds or something like 6 beds. That makes more sense. It's bunk beds.
Yeah.
There's 6 beds in this room, and there's a balcony. Like the balcony is over the beach. Yeah. And what happens to be under a balcony is a fucking fire show every night, mate. Whoa!
Fucking crazy. Yeah.
Like, so, and these guys are all out there every night spinning fire, and everyone's there, everyone's drinking in our hostel pub because we're opposite the fire show.
Mate, that sort of shit when you're in Thailand, so sick as well, mate. It's fucking insane.
There's me, 2 Danish guys there, there's 2 girls I was there, there's me, and we're all on our balcony fucking like chilling out, drinking beers, we got some like fucking local
with some like
booze
scenic fucking views, mate.
Scenic views, mate. Let's fucking, it's going off, mate. It's beautiful.
Jeez.
Then we come down, we socialise around with people and all that. And it's just like you see in the resort pictures. It's all like the bamboo sort of shoots and the bars with the hay on top of the leaves.
Yeah, for real,
and the
mate.
bartenders are fucking doing crazy mixes, fire shows and all that.
There's people on the beach with those like fucking, you know, those balls and string that are on fire,
Yeah,
mate.
that's what we're watching that every night sort of thing, and the fucking bartenders are going around and all that.
Jeez.
Mate, it's fucking
That's sick,
everything's
mate.
fucking good
so
pricing as well.
And that's where the good perceptions of traveling comes in. And you're like, right, okay, like this is the fucking pinnacle, mate. Like nights like that, like I was literally like, I would be with my girlfriend and I would be like, this is life at its best, mate. And like there were times where like what I would see on Instagram, right? You know, I'd get a motorbike with my girlfriend and we would drive from one side of an island to the fucking other side just to go to this beach which I've found like in the deepest, darkest threads, like right at the bottom of a thread. And they've been like, oh, this beach is an unbelievable beach. I don't know why I said darkest, but the deepest parts of a thread. Yeah. And there would be like someone mentioned something like 7 years ago or something about one beach, and I'll be like, right, we're going here today. That's our plan. And then I'll drive there, mate. And there were times where I was genuinely like, mate, there was no one on a beach, and I wouldn't have to pay anything to go on it either, which is rare in a Thailand beach. And I would sit there and I'd look around and I'd be like, this is fucking it, mate. I've reached my point of like this is where I'm in my element. Mate, I'm loving life at this point.
Moments,
and
fantastic.
But then, right, all like you know, just not just beaches. If you're doing like a trek or something, you get to like a point where like there's a fucking like unbelievable rainforest and like unbelievable fucking like waterfall and stuff, and like parts like that where you're like, wow, man, this is incredible. But then even in those moments, you're like, right, there's still something which is still like like they portray something higher than that, like you're fucking on a yacht in these remote beaches and you're backflipping into fucking and then
if you got the budget for it, you can make it happen.
do it, yeah. But this is the thing, like I there were a lot of times though, right? So getting back onto was it meeting your expectations versus reality? And most of my time traveling, like especially in Southeast Asia, so just before, like, quickly, because we haven't even gone into this yet, this should be, like, one of the first things we should have mentioned. Yeah. We've downloaded those apps, by the way, haven't we, where you can track how much of the world that you've actually...
mine's up there, but, like, I remember.
You had, what was your score?
Mine, out of the whole world, of all the countries I've been to, 9%.
Right, mine's 8%, right? But this is just what I've remembered. So there may be some, like a couple that I haven't remembered. But I've been to 28% of Europe, and then the rest is in Asia. So Asia I've been to 10% of apparently. But
Asia I've only done like 3 countries really.
Have you?
The longest there, I think combined, because I've always done a month around, like the whole travel thing for 2 years. Not 2 years combined. It was 2 months. In the 2 years. 2 months every year in 2 years.
Right, so 4 years in total.
No.
4 months in total. 4 months in total in 2 years. Sorry, yeah, right.
It was in 2 month sections.
Yeah.
So I did a month in Europe, and then I traveled to Asia, and it would be like a month in Thailand, and then the next year I went a month around Europe.
Yeah.
And then a month in in Vietnam.
And
also Hong Kong.
Right. So, go on.
That was me, and that's how I made up 9%.
Yeah, I've been traveling before where so I've gone traveling. I mean, India, like I've spoken about earlier, I spent like a while there, and I just basically volunteered. I did do a bit of traveling. I went to like obviously I saw the Taj Mahal and stuff like that, which is fucking incredible. But I've been technically, like, if you're referring to traveling, I've been traveling around Europe, so I've done that with my mates for a couple of months, where we went to like several different countries via interrailing, and then I've also been to obviously Southeast Asia, like I mentioned before, with my girlfriend, and we were there for like months, and then I've also been to Sri Lanka, and I went to a wedding there, and I did a bit of traveling when we were over there, and just like went a bit and did a bit of sightseeing and stuff like that. But yeah, sorry.
So you're saying interrail. That's an interesting sort of thing. Because a lot of people, interrail is very popular with students and stuff, because the whole like conception of it, technically it's meant to be cheaper and more flexible. Yes, it's very true, because the way I did it was because I was traveling by myself, I kind of like, okay, if there is always, you got to weigh out the risk of you're going to go to a place and it's going to be boring, so you need to like have that sort of, not so much the flexibility, but you need to be like on the move all the time.
Definitely,
or you might go to a place that might be really good, and then you might sort of end up staying there a little bit longer, and then your whole trip of I'm going to do like 13 countries in Europe ends up being either 3 countries in Europe.
and that's fine though. Like that's absolutely fine, because what'll end up happening is that can make your trip. Do you know what I mean? And then if there's still countries that you can go whenever. Do you know what I mean? Like if you really want to make yourself go traveling and stuff, you can do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, Anyway, sorry, mate. I keep interrupting you.
No, it's no worries. It's discussion. But like the way I did it was I just went on Skyscanner.
Right.
And I went, okay, I have these certain I had like 3, 4, 5 countries I wanted to go to, definitely. And then everything else was like in between. I've got a month to kill. And then I'm going to go for a month to Asia. So the idea was try to go to these countries, definitely go to these countries, and then end up in this country.
Yeah.
Right. So when I went on Skyscanner. I went, okay. First place I ever stopped was Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And then I went. So I was gonna go there because I've been there before. It's very familiar. It's a good place to start getting into things.
Yeah.
And then after that, I just went, okay, where's the next cheapest place?
Yeah.
And then I went, okay, don't want to go there, don't want to go. Okay, there's a flight there for 20 quid.
Yeah.
Right, so get that, booked it, there you go, sort yourself a hostel there. And then where's the cheapest flight after that? Okay, cool, want to go there, sort it out. And then I did that like 13 times.
Yeah.
And I ended up like, my sort of map of like, if this was a map, like, I went there.
Shit,
all over the
right.
place. Because I was just going off the flights. My cheapest flight was like 9 quid.
Jesus.
Right? And this is quite far as well.
Where was that?
From Romania to Berlin.
Jesus.
Right? 9 quid, man. That's a far
that's fucking
distance,
crazy, man.
Right.
That's crazy.
And then
they must have been trying to get rid of them fucking seats
and then
on a plane, mate.
it's just a common flight to take.
Yeah.
So the more popular the route, the cheaper the flight. Apparently, a lot of Romanians want to go to Berlin. I don't know, whatever.
Mate, who doesn't? Berlin's fucking incredible.
So I've been there, I think, 4 times.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Highly recommend. A bit expensive though, not a budget holiday.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. But yeah,
doing that, I ended up like all over the place, and then I ended up going to like Israel. That's technically no,
that's fucking sick, mate.
Israel, man, was one of my favorite places to go.
Really?
Legit. Like I bet
it was an interesting trip.
It's a very interesting trip. It's super like it's middle. The only Middle Eastern country I've been to was a war zone.
Yeah.
So
well, that was
very unfair comparison.
If you want to hear about that, part 1 of Dimitri's army,
army experience
episode is already out. Go and have a listen.
Like Israel's not quite like
Shameless
Afghanistan.
plug right there.
So Israel's really nice. It's super hot, super beautiful. I met some really good people there. I was hanging out with like this random girl that just walked up to me. She's from the UK as well. She's like, "Oh, hey, what are you doing? Like, were you going for lunch or anything?" I just ended up hanging out with her for 2 days.
Fucking hell, mate.
Shit like that doesn't happen to me. No one in the UK goes up to me and be like, "Do you want to hang out?"
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. Like, mate, you're sick, right?
Mate, that's the thing though. Shit like that doesn't happen in the UK,
went to Jerusalem and same thing again there.
Jeez.
I went on like the free tours. One thing I like to give a shout out. Everywhere you go tends to have a free tours. Free walking tours. Go on to them.
It, mate. Go on.
And like obviously it's a tip based free tour, so it's free to get on, and then you should give a tip at the end. And by should, it's really a must because these people work hard and they give you a good tour, and it's just use your morality sort of thing. Yeah, you could just run away, but what kind of dickhead are you?
I did a free tour. I've done a number of free tours, but I did one when I was in India. Like yourself, I went solo there. That's actually the only trip I've ever gone solo. And when I first arrived there, I was like, I'd been traveling to Southeast Asia and I'd been traveling to Europe before, but India is just a completely different gravy, mate. It's a completely different. It's a completely different culture, and personally, that's where I experienced the largest amount of culture shock. If people aren't aware what culture shock is, it's pretty self-explanatory in the name, but it's when you're experiencing some significant amount of anxiety when you're going to somewhere else due to there being a significant difference in your culture.
You don't know how to like present yourself and go about things a lot of the time, and honestly, the way to deal with it is just fucking go for it. Like,
definitely.
Don't do anything that you would think would be wrong. So, like, just look at what the locals are doing, or just go find someone you can kind of like hang out with. So a mistake with 2 people is kind of like, mistake
exactly.
on
it's
one.
not as bad.
But at the same time, no one's going to be like, oh, for instance, if you don't take your shoes off going into like an Eastern European household, for instance, no one's going to like murder you for it. There's going to be like, excuse me, could you take your shoes off? And you'll be like, oh, okay, sorry about that. Just remember it next time. Same sort of thing in India. Like if you're going in not wearing a hat or something, where you should be wearing a hat, I don't know if they have that sort of thing.
No. If you go into a Sikh temple and
they're like, could you excuse me? Could you cover your hair?
Exactly.
You'd be like, I'm really sorry.
Exactly.
Go in and sort yourself out. No one's gonna be like, you're not gonna be offending Ganesh, and he's not gonna strike you down. Like they're all right. Like as you would be acceptable of other people.
This was the thing. Oh shit! I completely fucking forgot what point I was getting onto.
Yeah, you were in India, culture shock.
Right. Sorry, free tours. So I just had like a free tour with someone. It was like a free kind of pub walking tour.
Yeah, pub
and
walking,
it was weird because I'd never thought that I would go on a pub crawl, like a actual pub cruel in India.
That's
and I did that, mate. And it was
interesting,
free, and it's free. But yeah,
Good time.
really good, mate. Yeah, really good. It was actually quite funny. There was meant to be a few people that turned up, but it was literally just me and the tour guide because everybody else bailed on the night. And I was like, right, okay, fucking hell, right. So I just got really pissed. It was my birthday, and I was by myself, and I was like, right, okay, I want to meet people. I wasn't staying at a hostel at this point. I was staying at a hotel, and I was like, I want to meet people, so I'm just gonna do this. And then it just ended up being me with this tour guide, and she was sound. To be fair, we just like she didn't drink, so she was like, she obviously kept like, which is clever because she's doing her tour, mate, and she's working. But there's me just fucking plastered, and I'm just fucking like, right, I think I should go home now. And it wasn't even late. We started really early, and I was like, right, I probably should go. But right, what I wanted to say was my expectations of traveling, right, was different between India and between Southeast Asia and stuff, right? So I like what we were speaking about earlier. My expectations of Thailand especially was crystal clear water, crystal clear all of this, and a really high expectation. Yeah. Whereas with India, my expectation was that like I thought that I did my research basically, and I did a lot more real life documentary watching, reading stuff, and actually researching into the day-to-day lives of people that live in these different cities in India. Whereas with Thailand, I just saw people on social media, and I thought, oh fucking hell, mate, that looks sick. Let me go to Thailand. And this is the difference. When I got to India, mate, I had a very big culture shock, obviously. Eventually, you get used to it, and it was fine. But this is the thing, like, I knew what I was getting, what I was not getting myself in for, but what the culture, anticipating what to expect. And then I adapted, because of that. And I think, to myself, I think that's what made the experience better. So I knew that I set out my goals of when I was there. I was like, well, I want to go. I want to make I want to have a bit of an impact or whatever. But with Thailand, because it was more of I went there for a luxurious kind of time. Yeah, I expected that, and in reality, what I did get was, I don't know if it was different with you, but there were the fucking elements where it was beautiful, mate. Like there's an island off the coast of Cambodia called Koh Rong, and stunning, mate. I've literally nowhere else in the world I've ever been is as stunning as that. It's unbelievable. If you're gonna go. If you're gonna go out there, go. But the rest of it, there were fucking parts where the beaches, there was just glass everywhere, mate. But from where fucking Westerners have just gone and fucked it up and just smashing glass everywhere, and mate, and it's fucked. And I did actually see a lot of that as well. And there's bits of traveling which are way less glorified. There's bits where it was dodgy for me, and there was bits where it was dodgy. There's one story, right, where basically me and my girlfriend, we were in Cambodia again. I absolutely love Cambodia, by the way. I don't want to put anyone off Cambodia. Cambodia was fucking incredible, mate. One of my favorite places in the world. But this was just one story, right? Because we travelled by overnight sleeper buses and a lot of buses in Cambodia, and they were fine.
It's one of them mixed bag sort of buses as well. Yeah. Go for the tourist buses. That's a big recommendation.
Yeah.
Don't think you're hard or I'm going to experience this the real life and go on a local bus, mate.
Yeah, mate.
It's not fucking worth it, mate.
The thing is, you will never be able to. The reality of it is that you are West. Wow.
They will, mate.
I mean,
it's no joke.
There's a possibility of that, but mainly you will be looked at the whole time because if there's kids on the bus or whatever and they've never seen I don't want to I don't know how to really describe it, but a Westerner kind of whatever, then they'll be a bit fascinated. It's like being out in the wild and seeing a fucking like lion or something, and like in the field of the UK, like if you're there looking for a fucking sheep and there's a lion, you'd be like, what the fuck? But
if you're in a city centre and you see a zebra just walking across, everyone will be staring at it.
Like,
you're the zebra.
Yeah, exactly, mate, exactly. But right, so. Me and my girlfriend were in Cambodia, right, and we were traveling from north to south, and we were like, right, okay, we need to get a sleeper bus. We booked this. No, actually, sorry, no. This was. It doesn't matter in this story, but we were going from south, to the capital basically. And anyways, we got on a bus, an overnight sleeper bus. And there were, right, so I'm going to lay out how the bus was. So the bus is, sleeper buses, you've got basically bed. Every bus is different in a sleeper bus. It's different laid out. But this one there was double beds, right, all in a line. They were like bunk beds. There were two on one side. And then then there was a small, like hallway, not a hallway. How would you describe that? Like a little walking.
Gantry.
Yeah, like little walking bit. And then there was single beds all up the other side, these were like bunk both sides, right? So and then obviously there's windows on the other side with curtains. And now, me and my girlfriend, we get on this bus, and we're on this bus for. So you get assigned bunks, whatever. And I went and sat down. We sat down on the bunk. I always used to like download movies to my phone just in case we couldn't sleep, and I'd just whack a movie on or whatever. And anyways,
when you say whack one out,
yeah, maybe, yeah, fucking hell, yeah, we go. But nah, we watch a movie or whatever. But anyways, we're sitting downstairs on this bus, and anyways, my girlfriend is tired. We had a long day, and pretty much an hour and a bit in, the lights go off. She tucks herself in with a blanket, and then she falls asleep. I'm sat there, I'm watching the end of a movie, and I've got one headphone in, right, because she was listening with the other headphone, and so my right ear is completely open. I'm sat on the far side, so next to this kind of like walkway bit, and I'm sat there, the lights go off, and as soon as the lights go off, I can just hear like tapping. So like fucking little tapping, like fucking really, really quiet, like, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I'm like, right, okay, right, it's getting louder. There's more, and I was like, right, okay, there's a lot of noise there. And then I'm like, literally, I'm starting to click on, and I'm like, right, okay, the fuck is crawling around me, mate? Because I was like getting stuff touching me and stuff, and I was like, right, okay, so I'm like, I'm laying down, right, and I'm flicking stuff off of me, and I'm like, right, okay, I'm feeling a lot of these right now, and I was like, right, I've got my phone, put on the torch, and I've pointed it to the walkway next to me. No word of a lie, there were thousands of cockroaches crawling all up and down the walkway, and all over us and everyone on this thing, mate. It was like they were waiting for the lights to go off. They knew that was their opportunity. They crawled out from underneath and were literally covering people, mate. And mate, they were literally like, I sat there and I was like, fuck, freaked out instantly. I couldn't relax. And basically, my girlfriend was asleep, right? I shook her, I woke her up. I probably wasn't the best thing. I should have just left her, to be fair, so she didn't freak out about it.
Eaten alive.
But I touched her, and I didn't know if I should tell her. Do you know what I mean? So I woken her up, and I was like, don't want to alarm you.
Man, I would believe you.
But look at this. And then I put on the light. No, actually, firstly, I pointed. So I put on the torch on my phone, and it shined at the window first where she was looking up. And I put on the torch. They were crawling up the sides of the windows and up the sides of the fucking wall, mate, where she was sat next. She freaked out. Then I pointed at the side. They were fucking everywhere. And
no one else reacting to this.
Everybody was asleep apart from me.
Mate.
Everybody. And mate, and I basically, so basically what ended up happening was when we first got on the coach, this was before I'd noticed all of this, right? Rewind a couple of hours. When we first got on the coach, there was this. I think she was Australian. I don't know. I literally we only spoke to her for about 15 minutes before we were all like setting off, and she fell asleep. And I never spoke to her again. But anyways, I think
Did
she was
she
like,
die?
Pardon?
Did she die?
No.
The cockroaches got her.
And then we never saw her again. No.
Like, there are cockroaches on that bus, Jordan. Don't get on it. And you're like, who said that?
Oh my god. But mate, and we spoke to her for a couple of minutes, right? And I was like, right, okay, she's really sound, really lovely lady. She was travelling by herself, like where you were.
She's a ghost, mate. She didn't exist.
Yeah, she didn't exist. But anyways, and anyways, when I shined that she was sleeping on the single bunk next to us. So there was the walkway, and then there was her bunk. I look over. This is when we're back in the situation where my girlfriend's awake, I'm awake, and we've noticed all the cockroaches are around. I've shined the light right on the walkway, and then my girlfriend goes, "Oh my god, turn it up a bit," and I've pulled my phone up. So I've got this right. I'm shining a light like this. Oh shit, you probably can't even see the light. I'm shining the light, and I literally tilt it up like that. She's got cockroaches. She's wearing those balloon pants.
Oh, no.
They're crawling up and down her leg. They're all in her hair. Like the whole... Mate, she's got long blonde hair. They're all crawling in and out of her hair. All around her ears. And I literally instantly sat up, right? And I was like, fuck. And I was literally swatting them off of me, mate. And I was literally, and basically my girlfriend tried to like go back asleep. She was like, right, the best way she's gonna get over this is if she basically covers it.
Terrible way to get over it.
I think she covered herself in a blanket. I think she like tried like wrapping herself like that. Or something, I can't really remember. It was late, right? And anyways, she got pissed off at me because I woke her up. She was livid because she was livid because of
ignorance is bliss.
No, well, I mean, in that scenario, I would have preferred to have stayed asleep. Do you know what I mean?
I'd be up on guard, like fucking crushing these bastards.
Yeah, but would you prefer to be asleep or up like that and awake and fucking?
Mate,
like,
I'd want to be there in the action, crushing them.
Well,
I'd be there like,
this is the thing. I didn't think, and in that scenario, fucking. Fuck you, bastard!
Punching each individual cockroach.
Like Shaun of the Cockroaches, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Off. You bastards! Oh, I'm getting tired.
You go like full.
They're all coming at you.
Full blown fucking Rocky Balboa on the fucking.
They're just lining up to you. And you're like, fuck off.
Oh, mate, but yeah.
He's covered in cockroaches.
Oh, mate.
You turn into a cockroach. 12 hours, like fucking, you're fucked. You're bleeding.
Oh my god! Right, mate. Can we take a little breather on in a piss?
Yeah. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Yeah. No, that's the thing, mate. And but anyways, like, so I just basically I freaked out. I was just fucking up all night. I think she was, to be fair. I think she was as well.
Yeah, man, I wouldn't be like, I'm covered in cockroaches.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. I think she. But anyways, we were meant to get there. We were meant to get to where we were going. No. Oh, no, I remember what it was. No, we were meant to go from South Cambodia in this bus all the fucking way to Vietnam, right? South Vietnam, the Saigon, Ho Chi Minh,
yeah.
Right? We didn't get there, so thank fuck this happened. This was such a blessing in disguise, right? So what ended up happening was the bus stops at about... So we were on this bus not for as long as what we should have been. We should have been on there until about 7 a.m. We were on there until about 2 a.m, right? So it got to about 2 a.m, maybe a bit later, maybe 3 a.m. And we basically... It's hard to explain, but basically we pulled up, right? Well, and I noticed that the bus had stopped. And like everybody... And they put the lights on. And they started being like, everybody up, get out, like, blah, 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 get up. So we're all waking up, and all of these, mate, fucking cockroaches just disappear, mate. It's so weird how,
they fucking hate
how
the light.
fucking clever they are, mate. And they basically, like, they got us off the coach, and they were like, right, we've just got confirmation. Basically, they made up some bullshit, basically. These fuckers took our money and just basically wanted to drop us at the capital of Cambodia as opposed to taking us all the way to Vietnam. They said, right, we don't have the certificates or something to get you, obviously, to pass. I can't remember what it was. They said that maybe the border crossing was closed or something, and we were like, I swear they're always open, the border crossings. But anyway, so this bus stops. It's about 2 a.m. or something like that, or 3 a.m. And we were like, right, I got straight off of that motherfucker like there's no tomorrow, mate. That was the quickest I've ever got off of a bus. I grabbed I grabbed our bags. We were standing off of the thing, and I was still sketched out, mate. I was still like standing there like fucking. And anyways, this guy comes, this random guy, I'd never seen him before. So they're all like, right, wait here a couple of minutes. We wait in there. This random guy comes. He goes, right, follow me. We're all like, the fuck. Luckily, there were a couple of English people that were on this coach, and we actually became good friends with these two. We actually travelled with them for a bit. And they're like, right, follow us. I'm like, okay. So we follow this random guy. There's not many of us on this bus, by the way. There's I don't know, like 10 or something. But
1,000 cockroaches.
Yeah. but we follow this random guy. None of us speak Cambodian.
Yeah.
And he takes us like it's like a 10-minute walk, and it's 3 a.m. right? So he's not driving us anywhere. We're walking, and we walk, and there's this weird building that he takes us into, and it looks like a travel agent's that had been, I don't know, like it looked like just like a travel agent's, and it random, really random. Anyways, it's hard to explain, but anyways, he takes us in. This is about 3 a.m. still, and he goes, right, we sleep here. Literally, this guy didn't speak any English. He just goes, sleep here, kind of thing. And I'm like, right, okay, what the fuck is going on? Like, we were meant to be on this coach, and no one's told us anything. And he goes, sleep here. And then one other guy comes in, and he basically explains in very brief English that we will pick you up tomorrow. We will take you over. And like, he was like, over. And I was like, okay. And he goes, and we go, okay, well, we sleep. And he goes, right, follow me. There's 10 of us. We're all randomers. We don't know each other. He takes us up these stairs. There's one toilet that didn't flush. It was literally like a broken toilet, basically like a bucket.
Yeah.
And he takes us upstairs, and he goes, right, you sleep here. And he points into this tiny room, right? Literally like a single bedroom size that had nothing but like a rug with one of those kind of like, it's hard to explain, like a long thin pillow that you would have like on a beach bed. Yeah, and it's laid out, and it's probably space for about 3 people. And I was like, right, babe, we're not sleeping here. I was like, right, okay. And this was late as fuck, and there were literally no hostels or anything open, so we were like, right. And we were speaking, at this point, we were speaking to these 2 English people that we met on the coach, and we were like, right, okay, safety in numbers, like what we were speaking about earlier. We've gone downstairs, and I've basically been like, we've sat down, and we literally stayed up all night chatting, because we were shitting it, mate, because they left the front fucking door open. There were like stray dogs and shit coming into this place, mate. This is a true story. Like, I was fucking literally.
Oh, mate, no doubt. Shit like that happens all the time. It's not even a far-fetched.
Mate, we were sat there all night, sketching and pranging out, just waiting for something. And they turn up. So we were pranging out for a few hours, and they turn up about, I think it's like, I don't know. So if we got there 3, I don't know. I think we were pranging out, and if people aren't English, pranging means like you're stressing out about something. You're anxious. You're paranoid.
You got all the bad feelings going on.
Yeah. And anyways, we're pranging out, And we sat there, and I think they pick us up about 5:30, 6, and they eventually take us to where we were supposed to go. So they didn't actually get any more money out of us, which was lucky. But what was going through my mind was, fuck, they've taken us here, they've dropped us off, that's it, we're fucked. Like, we have to get our own way, we're going to have to pay more and get there tomorrow. But yeah, while I was getting onto that story, right, this is just one story, but out of millions that me and you both have. But anyways, what I was getting onto that story about was basically... the expectations of traveling is here. In many places that you go to, you believe that it's going to be, exceptional all the time. And these people that go traveling, they act like they're not anxious about anything. And a lot of these environments that you find yourself in can be anxiety inducing.
Yeah, a lot of it is like that situation you just told there, where you just end up in the middle of nowhere. Like, to a person that's not seasoned to traveling, you'd be like, oh my God, what's going on? It's the end of the world. Me thinking now, I'll be like, okay, what would I do in that very realistic occurring situation in a place like Cambodia? Shit goes wrong all the time. Yeah. Like, this isn't like a megabus chartered service across Cambodia. Like you're lucky if the bus doesn't break down, someone doesn't rob you or something like that. Well, that's a big case scenario. But like a bus dropping you off in the middle of nowhere, just kind of expect it. And think like, okay, this is not what I expected. But you're on holiday. Have you got anywhere to be? Have you got work the next day? Are you late to your fucking like presentation you got to do or something? Like, you're there. You've got nowhere to go. So kind of like, okay, so I'm in a situation. I'm not very comfortable in it. I can't really sleep. It's 3 a.m. Just stay up.
Just wait it out and then sleep the next day.
I'll be the guy kind of like looking after everyone. That's my sort of like, I have this, I don't know, I won't say caring role, but I'm like, well, I'm fucking woke as far as in the woke, that's not the right word. I'm kind of like,
you're woke, bro.
Yeah, I'm as wake as fuck usually and stuff like that. I'm like, right, guys, if you can get some sleep, I'll be up all the time. Just
and you haven't got a problem with that.
I haven't got a problem, mate, because as soon as we get on the bus, that's when I'm gonna get my sleep.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, it's like why, like just because it's the middle of the night does not mean you gotta sleep.
Yeah, you're fucking crashing off straight away.
I'll be there fucking just kind of having a look, exploring the area, making sure everything's sound. If something does go on, like I'll probably be the guy for you want to be out there sort of thing. Like it's safety in numbers, but like you gotta have it's that sort of military perspective. Someone's got to be on stag. And I might as well be that person because I personally won't feel comfortable with anyone else doing it. So I might as well do it.
Yeah, it's true.
So like
that's definitely true. I felt the same. I mean, I was there. It's
trust
natural.
anyone else to be in that position of responsibility. I wouldn't.
Especially when like I said, I went traveling around Southeast Asia with my girlfriend, and in that particular situation, there's we were both looking out for each other, but in that situation, I'm happy for me to myself to stay awake and for her to try and get some kit because I know that I'm not going to sleep anyways. There's no way I would be able to because I wouldn't be able to click off. Like, because I'm in that situation where my mind is racing about all the possibilities. So in that specific situation, I'm like, right now, there's no way.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's a story to tell. I mean,
exactly, mate.
Bad things that happen at the time, it might seem like, oh my God, catastrophic, I'm gonna die. But the odds are you're probably gonna be all right. Like statistically, you usually are all right. You will make it home. And at that time, like it might seem sketchy because no one speaks English and you're in a weird environment. But if people did speak English, a guy would go up to you like, yeah, mate, something's up with the bus, or the bus driver's fucked on something and he can't make it to the border, or we're gonna get you in the morning. Don't worry about it. But because the guy turns up and goes, you sleep here, me know how to say the words I need to say to you to make you secure enough. You're kind of like
because it's that unknown, mate, isn't it? Exactly. It's that unknown where you're like, at the end of the day, you haven't given me enough explanation why we're here. If it was a situation, and I totally don't blame this person because at the end of the day, I don't speak Cambodian, mate. I don't expect them to speak English. It's fucking not their country. It's not my it's.
He did his best to explain it. You know what I mean?
It's I'm a guest in their country, mate. But in that situation, in that specific situation, it's just the fact that I was like really stressing out because I was like, mate,
you wouldn't have minded a friendly Yorkshireman to turn up and be like, hey, would you like a brew?
Yeah,
no, that's
exactly,
not Yorkshire at all. But, like,
mate, it was the fact that like I was fucking. There was stray dogs coming in as well, and what literally. Potting in, right, so this place, no bigger than this room now, and to explain this room now, it's not the biggest of biggest rooms.
Yeah.
And there was just a staircase, and then there was that small room upstairs. So it's a tiny place, and these dogs are just pottering in and pottering out. In the end,
dogs everywhere.
In the end, I was like, right, okay, this guy, by the way, this guy fucked off. Just to let you know,
he's this
guy fucked off. No. Yeah, he literally
hotel.
told us to stay here, wait here, and then he fucked off. So I was like, right, okay, this is fucking really irritating me. And he fucked off, and when he was gone for about 20, 30 minutes, there were stray dogs coming in and out. I was like, right, okay, I'm just going to shut the door. So I did. I just shut the door, and that could have evidently risked them not picking us up, but it was worth that, just having that bit of extra security. But what I was trying to say is, it's not all that bad, but
your
the
mind goes
expectations,
into overdrive in situations like that. And it's for a good reason. It's a defensive instinct.
Defensive,
in retrospect,
exactly.
Was it that bad?
Yeah,
we
stayed in the room for a bit, you know what I mean?
Oh, boo-hoo, you know what I mean?
But this is the thing, mate. Like, I mean, but what I was trying to say is the expectation is here, and in reality, a lot of the time, there were times when everybody has that money thing at some point where you're like, I'm starting to run out of money.
That's where you need that buffer budget we were talking about.
What?
That's where you need that buffer budget we were talking about at the beginning. Like, don't go if you're on a shoestring. A situation like that might spack you out a little bit because oh shit, I had $2 fucking Cambodian dollars in my pocket and now it's for the bus ride home. Now worst case scenario, I can't get back home.
I can't get back.
If you're on like an actual decent budget, a situation like that, like, think of what is the worst case scenario. Well, the worst case, you might get murdered, but that's not really a problem because you'd be dead, right? So think about it that way. You know what I mean? Like, if you're murdered, don't worry about the money because you're dead, basically.
Right.
You've lost your responsibility. You know? It's a kind of dark way to look at things, but like in reality, that's what it is. You know what I mean? But in a worst case, realistic survival,
you can't do anything about it if you're
exactly.
Not
It's out of your hands,
yeah.
mate. You're gone. But in a realistic sort of situation, like, okay, you're in the middle of Cambodia.
Yeah.
The bus has just dropped you off. You are with a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
Right. So the worst case scenario is, okay, maybe the second bus doesn't turn up.
Yeah.
Then you would still with a bunch of people. Your collective fund there could get you. You're in Cambodia, right? They've got to highlight that.
Yeah.
You could hire out a whole new bus for the price of a ticket in the UK from like Manchester to London.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not like crazy amounts of money, right? So you could get this bus and you could go on your adventure and you will always make it there because you have that white person financial backing, because people will know like, okay, this guy has the funds. Yeah, they might rip you off, but you will get there. So worst case scenario, just fucking pull your pants down, take a financial raping, and then like and get on your way, mate.
Mate, I was not expecting that.
That's it. But like they'll have you off, mate, if you're stranded. But money talks everywhere, right? And having that sort of buffer budget of and by buffer budget, I mean like £100 will probably get you from one side of the country to the other.
Yeah, what you're saying is like having a bit just set aside, it maybe in a separate account,
mate,
just in case the worst of the worst happens.
You want a couple of dollars folded up inside your arse crack. No, I'm joking, like, but having a little
like
bit
Jay
of
from the Imitators,
exactly, mate. But there's a point to that.
Yeah.
They make a joke about having a €20 up your arse sort of thing, but having like a little bit hidden away in the side of your backpack, somewhere, like, in a situation like that,
people
you just
find
gotta,
it.
like, think of all the weird and like horrible ways you can be stuck somewhere in a foreign country and assume that might happen. And what would you like to have in that situation? And money is usually the key factor there.
Yeah.
Money talks in places like that. Money talks everywhere.
Yeah,
So,
but in places where there's a struggling economy,
man, you whip a $50
not struggling.
note
That's the
out.
wrong word. I'm talking about not struggling, less developed.
Yeah, the less developed, but your currency is regardless worth more over there. You whip $50, you whip a tenner out. Like these people will be like, okay, I could buy a house for that tenner. What does this guy want?
Yeah, like
I mean,
I always, when I was traveling, it wasn't necessarily a buffer, right? But
it's a backup, never a buffer.
I always had so I always had a tiny bit of money in my account just so that if anything happened, it was a separate account, and me and my girlfriend would at least be able to get home, right? The first time I went traveling, I actually made that mistake, right, where I literally ran out of money. I was only 19 when I first went to Europe, right? And I was in Croatia. No, I was in Italy, and I ran out of money. Like, literally had no money. I had no overdraft left. My credit score was shit, so I couldn't even apply for anything else. And I literally was like,
whoopsies.
I had an Interrail ticket, so I could get from A to B. So I'd be able to get to France, right? But I wouldn't be able to get back to the UK.
You're slinging arse
so,
that night.
yeah, but yeah. No, I literally, mate, I called everyone, and luckily my brother bailed me out. But anyways, you should never get into that situation. It's the scariest thing.
Before you set off on a journey like that, think of it like it's a good time, but it's also quite serious.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't go.
Yeah, definitely.
Like in the UK, you wouldn't like turn up. And UK is a terrible example, but like you wouldn't go into a situation not at least expecting what to kind of expect.
Yeah,
like,
you got to keep your wits about you.
You'll know, like just. Yeah, it's exactly that. Have that sort of backup. Be aware that things can happen. Like most of the time they don't.
Yeah.
And like that's great, but sometimes, like 1% of the time, you're unlucky.
Yeah.
Right, and then you could get stranded. You could get someone's trying to extort you or something like that.
Yeah.
Like try and avoid the situations, but they do happen against the whole best of your judgment.
You know what? Once, right, when I was traveling with my girlfriend, I think I had £40 in £20 notes, so I literally had two £20 notes.
I was about to say that's a whole lot of 20s.
But no, I literally kept that in my wallet. Just the idea of having that was that when I get the flight back to the UK, we'd be able to buy a train ticket to get somewhere, kind of thing, and or we'd be able to use that money just to buy something at the airport, like food wise, when we got back. So if we were to buy a sandwich, get us home kind of thing. Money. Yeah. And anyways. But when we were out there was a point where we were like, right, okay, we wanted to do like a tour kind of thing. When we were in Vietnam, we were like, right, we didn't have that amount of cash, but I didn't want to actually, like in Vietnamese money, but I didn't want to withdraw. Yeah, I didn't want to withdraw because obviously you get charged every time you withdraw. Yeah. So I was like, well, I'm just going to see how much I get from this. And I got exactly what I wanted for exchanging 40 quid. And I was like, it's good to have it in that scenario as well. Right, we need to start wrapping this up, I think.
Yeah, but just to finalize that bit, or like the world currency is US dollars.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna take any kind of currency with you anywhere, like especially like around places where you know it's difficult, so outside of Europe mainly, don't kind of like take pounds or euros because they don't mean really much anything over there. But dollars are dollars everywhere. Yeah. People know what the US dollar is. Yeah. So have your emergency. Bring US dollars with you, right? Get a decent exchange rate back home, and then just carry them in your sort of like backup luggage. Not all of your money, but a good majority of it. And then you can exchange it as you go, and you tend to get like a better rate, and there's no worries about your credit card or your debit card like charging you silly exchange rates. So kind of bring it's a good way. Don't rely on technology in places where technology isn't thriving.
Yeah, because some places that I went to, mate, you can't find an ATM.
Around Europe, you can travel with a fucking debit card and have no fees, right? A Monzo, a Revolt card, a Sterling card, exchange rates are free. Yeah. But But outside of that environment, it's a whole different world as far as that goes. Like, yeah, you can use your debit cards, but it's a luxury.
Yeah.
So consider that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So like, to be fair, there's like, I've really enjoyed this, mate. I think we've covered quite a bit. But I would actually like to get into a part 2 of this purely because there's so many questions which I haven't asked, and we've got shitloads of stories. I've heard your stories, mate, and they need to be heard. But I would like to just end this one because we're talking about like we've spoken about like cliches and the kind of expectation which Instagram has in regard to reality, right? Jesus, mate, these beers, they make you so winded, don't they? So my last question to you, just to summarise this in 8 minutes, right? Do you think that travelling and this cliche bit of like kind of stereotype of travelling and Instagram gives a false representation of what it actually is? And do you think that can either demotivate people or kind of, when they get there, be less enthusiastic about it and kind of see it in a negative light because of that?
Right.
So there's kind of two questions there.
Yeah.
Do you think that it can demotivate people, and do you think that people can enjoy traveling less because they've got a false reality of it?
No,
false
I
stereotype.
Think right. Like it's
Did it with you?
It's, I wouldn't say, like, I didn't really pay attention to Instagram when I was kind of doing my sort of trip. I had like the sort of, I try and approach things as much as possible in a sort of empty mindset of, okay, I'm going to go to a new place and I'll get there and I'll kind of just, then when I'm there, go on TripAdvisor and have a look at things to do.
Yeah.
And kind of just discover it in my own way. Having a preconceived conception of something, I think kind of, again, like you say, it kind of muddies the water. So when you leave a place, you think like, oh, I didn't get to do this, or it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, you know, and like Instagram for it, like, using Asian countries as a key example, because that's where you get that sort of big paradise, big, or like lovely beaches, big parties,
definitely.
Those images are real. You got to consider that those things do happen, but the way there might not be for everyone. If you want to go on these beaches, you want to relax and kind of drink mojitos or beers on the beach all day, that is exceptionally possible. There's no misconception about that. If you want to do that, you be there and you can sit at these beach bars and do that. You can go on these boat parties and do that.
Yeah.
Finances allowing, of course.
Yeah.
So, like, Instagram...
But they've capitalised on that.
Of course
you've
they capitalised.
got to be ready to spend for those experiences.
Yeah, and it's... people say, oh, Thailand's really cheap, things are so cheap. Like, it used to be back in the day, right?
I think it's still, there's certain places where it is, still.
Yeah.
But even then, it's certain things that you can do that is still cheap.
It's, the places that are cheap are where people look at you and be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
This guy. Right?
That's true. Now, I agree with that.
And now, as in Thailand, I went to Chiang Mai and I rented a motorbike there, like a full-size big motorbike. Like, those things didn't really exist around Thailand because they tend to like ride on scooters. I've got like a full-blown Honda 500 CB or CB 500, can't remember.
Right.
Something like
what
that.
What sort of CC?
Yeah, it's a 500cc.
Right, okay.
Right, so it was a big bike. And I kind of just went for, I'm going to
kind of says it as a name, actually.
Really. They tend
to
be motivated. No worries. So my whole thing, I want to go from Chiang Mai to Pai, do the Pai thing, kind of go around the road, do a bit of off-roading on this bike.
If people don't know this, apparently because I've been to these places, and the roads around there are renowned for being incredible because there's so many like winds and dips in the road.
Like, motorbiking roads, superb.
Perfect.
Like a lot of the sections anyway, some of them not so good.
Yeah.
But I went off, did that, and again, just being, because I'm on the road, I am stopping at these places. I'll go to like a 7-Eleven somewhere, I'll stop by some like hut somewhere, and then you'll turn up, and then people kind of like, they'll be doing their thing, and then they'll hear the ding, and they'll look up, and then they'll look up again.
Yeah.
And those are the places that's value for money, because they're like, they'll give you shit for free, because they're like, you're like, whoa, but try and give them money. Because,
of course.
you know, like, it's... or take it as a gift, whatever.
Yeah.
Whichever way you perceive things.
But what you're saying is like those kind of places are the places.
If you want an authentic cultural experience, get off the beaten track.
Yeah.
And if you want to do like I do, get a motorbike and go experience it. It'll be cheaper. You're kind of on your own, and you actually get to see and experience things.
We need to get into right. So in the next part, right, which could potentially be next week that we shoot. I'd love to get into your trip via Vietnam because you actually bike the whole way. Yeah. So keep an eye out for that one. Right, but I'm quite conscious on the time, mate. But yeah, anyways, right. So just summarising this, I think that I think that people can be demotivated by Instagram's false reality of it because people can think like I know this because I felt it slightly. That I can't go travelling unless I'm videoing it all. I can't go travelling unless I have a GoPro, I can't go travelling if I don't have a six pack and I'm not like. Do you know what I mean? Like you have to look amazing if you're going travelling. You can't.
If that's what you mean, honestly, like
I think that can maybe put people off.
Throw that conception of like I want to be like an Instagram model. Aria, if you got that sort of thing, like I want to be on the beach with a six pack drinking a coconut mojito or whatever.
Yeah.
Or like. I mean, you could do that, but you could be a big, fat, beer-bellied fucking white guy, but like, hey, look at my tan lines.
Yeah.
Like,
you can enjoy
there's
it,
loads
mate.
of pictures of me like that, but I'm just kind of like, look at that big, ugly bastard on the beach, man. Who beached that whale? You know what I mean?
Mate, I love
and
it.
it's like honestly,
that's so funny, mate.
And they say like, what? So okay, you got a big six pack and all
ugly
that.
beach whale. What the fuck?
It's like you're there lying like fucking I'm drunk on a beach, whatever. But it's honestly, people say like it's all about confidence. But if you're that big fucking ugly bastard rolling around on the beach, you know what I mean? Like, look at me, I don't give a fuck. People gotta be like, you know what? Like you can the vibes this guy's giving of no fucks given, and there's this guy fucking applying his like beaching, bronzing agent on him to look good for his pictures, and I'm there like covered in sand, fucking shit, my underwear's fell off in the sea.
Did you? Right, quick question for you, all right? Because I am conscious, but quick question. So did it ever feel like you were the odd one out, and did you ever feel demotivated at all?
Because if you're that self-conscious, then don't take your top off, mate. Like, honestly, but if you want to get like, some tan lines on your beer belly and make sure you lift up the folds to get the equal tanning on your belly.
But there were times where I was like, and I definitely did feel this, and I don't know if it's just me, but there were times where I took photos, right, and I was like, right, I can't even like kind of really do anything with these because they don't meet the criteria of.
Give me them photos, I'll make you meet the criteria, mate. It's called Photoshop, mate. Instagram. Most of them
I would
have you
never
seen
do that
Instagram
shit.
versus reality?
Yeah. It's mad,
like, you might look good in like a normal sense of the word of like, look at me, my six pack, wash your abs and all that. But they'll still put it through a Photoshop, clean up all the edges, clean up all the like the wrinkles and the stuff, make themselves look good. It's just a thing that happens. Yeah. So whenever you see a picture like that, it's not really real.
So in a couple of minutes summary, what advice would you give people if they were looking to go traveling and they feel like, oh, I don't want to be a cliche, or that, you know, there's this reality which I don't think I can live up to?
Don't think that much into it. If you like do what I do or did. Not necessarily I'm saying this is the right way, but what I want, I had this idea in my head. I want to go traveling and I want to go see these places because I've got the money now. And okay, I don't have many friends that are in the situation I am in now, where I've got a bunch of free time and I've got the saved up money. Yeah. Just go and do it.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, get your feet wet. Don't go on like a 6-month straight up trip and thinking, oh, I'm going to hate all this. But just go get your feet wet. Go for like 4 days in a nice place, somewhere nice and cheap. Cheap tends to be the best places to go.
Or if you are wanting to do a 6-month trip, it's fine, but leave yourself open. So don't book a first flight and a return 6 months later. Yeah. You know, book your first flight to go there, have your money in your bank, have, everything prepped. Because if you don't like it, a couple of weeks in, go back home, give yourself a breather, give yourself, don't force. I met people that force themselves to go traveling and really force themselves and don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
But yes, I think my personal bit of advice is that, mate, it's one of the best things I've ever done in my life.
No, for sure.
And I think you'd agree, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but similarly as well, like you said, like sometimes you do end up in places. Like I've been, as a seasoned traveler, I go to places now and I think like, oh, I'm not really having a good time here.
Yeah.
Give it some time, right? Sometimes you end up in a place where it's the hostel's just dead. The place is not what you expected. Yeah. Like the locals aren't really that friendly. It's just kind of like...
You can be scared, you can feel lonely, and these feelings do happen.
And it happens to everyone. And sometimes it's just, you might just hit like on an unlucky car. Like some of my best trips where the place was really crap, but I met some nice people.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I met no one and the place was really nice. Yeah. And then sometimes both were really shit. Yeah. But then move on to the next place and give that a chance. Yeah. Sometimes that's not even good. And you think, oh my God, this is the worst trip ever. 2 places I've been to, it's going to be horrible for the rest of the trip. Third place, you hit the bang on the head. You're like, thank fuck I didn't bail out.
And fucking, that's it, mate. And those bits make it so worth it.
Yeah, sometimes, like you end up...
I think you've summarised that perfect, mate.
A lot of the time, I turn up in place and I kind of get into the hostel, I get to my room, and there's no one there, and it's kind of dead. I'm like, fuck, I fucked up. Wrong hostel, wrong place. Give it time. Go off by yourself. Go have a little look around if you are by yourself. But go have a little around, get some food, come back. You'll find that the place might be buzzing.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's not. It's just kind of go with the flow.
Hit and miss, yeah. I mean, this is the thing. Like in my honest opinion and my honest like feelings and emotion. When I first got to India, right, that's the only time. This was the last place that I'd really been like in recent times, right. And I got there and I just literally I was such in culture shock and experiencing that so bad that I was like, right, like couple of days in, I was just still so out of my comfort zone, and I was like, I've never experienced this before. I felt so lonely. I felt so kind of just like not scared, but just like apprehensive. And but mate, a couple of days later, it felt insane, mate. It felt so good because you realise that the majority of these things, like, like you just have to let yourself go. Just let that fear and anxiety go. Not to an extent where you're a fucking idiot, but keep yourself kind of But
you just wear into things. You warm up to things. Like starting a new job sometimes. Like your first couple of weeks might be a bit rubbish, and then suddenly you like find your padding, and it's the best job you've ever had, and you stay there for 10 years.
Amen,
and
mate.
Same with traveling.
Amen. Why the fuck did I say that? Yeah, true.
So like, just give it a chance, and like, after you felt like you've given it a fair shot, a couple of days, and it's still a bit rubbish, then maybe consider going back. But remember, like, changing location also means changing environment and changing a situation.
Yeah. That's what I think people don't. A lot of the time. That is
the best part of the traveling, of constantly new things happening, constantly seeing new people, new things.
Yeah.
And it's that change from your own reality back home where everything is exactly the same each day.
And
you know what's going on.
In a way, everything is easy because you've got used to that as
you're
well.
So
and it's just completely different.
And it's as soon as you get over the unfamiliarity of new situations and you kind of get your footing on, okay, I'm unfamiliar with this, and you kind of get a little bit more familiar with those unfamiliar things, and then you kind of learn how to approach different situations. Then the whole world opens up, and like everything you were worried about beforehand just goes away. Sometimes just like broaden your mind, open your head up, and just kind of just do things you would not do usually.
Right. And I think that's a great way to end it, mate.
That's it, mate.
All right. Like the last thing which I want to say, and I want to make it on your point as well, what you said earlier. Dimitri earlier on spoke about how you basically went out there and you just completely kind of took in what was going on around you, and you adapted to that, and you said that's what you brought home with you. And like, I just want to make that a point. I went out to India and I knew that all these stereotypes were about and stuff. I came back thinking, right, I know that I do not want to be those people. And that's what I learned. I learned a few things. and I learned that, you know, I should be more appreciative of my life over here, because there are definitely, you know, people that are struggling, and I want to help that, and so I feel like I'm more in kind of a richer mindset in that sense. But also, I know that I never want to be them fuckers. Yeah. So that's something which I've learned, and that's what you can take from the situation.
Just break down the phrase of discover yourself. That type of stereotypical phrase. Discovery means finding something that's unknown.
Yeah.
If you're looking for something that's already known, which typically a stereotype which is already known, you're not really discovering it, are you?
Yeah.
So when you go out to discover yourself, you just find something that's unknown about yourself that you never even contemplated of finding out, because it's unknown to you. That's the whole point of it. So everyone's journey is totally different. Just because your friend goes away and says like, oh, I did this, or you think of like, oh, I'm an introverted person as well, I'm gonna be like Dimitri and discover the fact that I'm actually super social, then it might not happen for you. It's not the same for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want to guarantee that as well.
Well, that's the whole process of discovery. You might find something really negative about yourself, but then it's build upon that and see what you do with that new information about
exactly,
it.
Mate,
Maybe you discover the fact that you hate people altogether and you hate discovering new cultures. That's still a discovery, and it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's just something you know. Maybe
just
you don't want to do it again.
Stepping outside of your comfort zone is a good thing, mate. And
every day should be the new fucking discovery.
Yeah, exactly, mate. And mate, spot on. Right. Let's end it there then. Right. I do want to do a part 2 on this. So if you guys want to, like, if anyone's listening to this and that they're interested in hearing that, then mate, we'll make that happen. We'll get it going. Yeah. Subscribe and on whatever platform you're listening to. Remember that Blended Views is on everywhere. On podcasting platforms,
internet waves,
and on YouTube and stuff, and we're always going to be back. Just releasing when we feel like releasing. But I definitely do want to do a part 2.
Yeah, mate.
But yeah, keep it real. I don't know why I said keep it real, but
keep it anyways, real, whatever you fancy.
Anyways, peace.